Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're all ready, because I sure as shit am not. We're going to be finishing up the artwork today, and at least some of the pieces of art that we have to do tonight. We're going to be watching some Wendigoon, but most importantly, there's a new model. There's a new model. Yeah. And if you're guessing from the recent tweets, everything else is going to be a slapper. In fact, I have a feeling that most of you are going to hate it. I just made like 2 people from YouTube leave. Yes, it is I. The long-awaited sequel. Pixelated tiny Neko Dax. It's beautiful. It's amazing. We're going to be finishing that cat, by the way. The drawing of the cat. Alright. I think that's enough. Oh, what a beautiful song. What the fuck is this? That's shit. Why is there dubstep? Oh no. You float. Yes, I do float. I float. Here I am. Alright, let me mirror this. Hold on, I need to get rid of a lot of unnecessary stuff I have on my iPad. A bunch of windows I forgot to close. Shit. Wipe is not napping. That's good. Victoria, it's $5. No, buy it yourself. No. No. No Terraria for you. I'm not getting it for you. Buy it yourself. Get it. I'm gonna make myself a little bigger. Here we go. Oop. Oops. Oops. Everything. Every evening. Fuck. Folks, I made it to stream. Welcome, Dragon King. Hope you don't mind the atrocity you're about to see. By the way, we are going to be finishing some art today. It is going to be an art stream as per usual. I've been doing mostly art streams for a while because I find them pretty fun. I killed 2 birds with one stone with it, and we react to some videos while we're doing it. So today we're going to be watching Wendigoon's video on FNAF. Oh, fine. A little different. Since I'm on this side of the screen now, he's going to be here with you guys. You guys are going to be over here with me. And everyone who's going to join on the Discord is going to be over here on the left. It's a little crowded. It's a jar over here. Right next to me. There we go. Staying up for me, I guess. That's good. You're drawing. Thank you. Let me just enhance the image. Actually, I might have to do it on my end too, because I also want to watch it. It's Wendigoon. One of my favorite YouTubers, and I hope you guys like him too. We did watch a FNAF video yesterday on, you know. I think that's a good size, right? It's a good size. I'm still trying to juggle around, trying to figure out how any of this could really work. I'm downloading Fuser for free. Oh, for free. Just gonna chill, draw, get some people in here in the chat at some point with me to watch this. Yeah, I also need to do this real quick. And go into Discord. Oh, hey, you can't say my mic. Weird. Irish. Fuck you, Archie. Alright. So, do that. You let me in? No. Only exclusive people can be in. You can't get in. I'm exclusive. No, you're not. I'm not letting that chance run up on me. I'm not doing that. Hold on.
Of the horror series that I cover, I feel like today's horror series needs no introduction. Five Nights at Freddy's has quickly become one of the most popular video game IPs ever. Five Nights at Freddy's currently has 9 games in its main series, as well as over a dozen books written about it and countless fan games. Not only that, but even people who hate the games have to admit that it was probably the most impactful indie horror series of all time. And the craziest part about it is to this day, no one really knows what happened. Like, if you play through the games, it's very clear that there is a story happening in
Yeah, I also got myself a Jack Daniels.
The gameplay always takes center stage. And despite the countless Reddit threads
it's like a
and
peach drink,
topic, there still doesn't seem to be a clear answer of what happened in the games themselves. So
ooh, a little strong.
And present to you what I believe
get a little buzz going. All right.
See, this video started out, I just wanted to cover the FNAF VHS tapes, because a couple people, specifically Squimpus McGrimpus,
send me a link to important. You literally sent that in the Discord.
Within the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's,
actually need to look at it.
However, after getting all of my research done for that, and then thinking how I would describe it to you all, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to someone who wasn't familiar with the Five Nights series. So I asked myself, what is the minimal amount of information I need to tell you about the Five Nights series in order for you to understand the VHS tapes? And that eventually devolved into me breaking down the entire story.
It's like a gray.
Major events. So I'm doing great. However, I'm only partially joking
on
that because I do believe that the
I can do.
Freddy's storyline is a very interesting story that deserves to be told. However, if you're familiar with the series at all, then you probably know that the problem with telling the story is the story itself. See, the story of the game takes place across the first 7 entries. The games in chronological order, or
no more Markiplier, please.
Order, because we can't even agree on when the games happened. But in my chronological order, it goes 4, 2, 1, 5, 3, 6, 7. Yeah. And the reason that it's so confusing for newcomers to the series to try to figure out what's going on is because anytime you search something like Five Nights at Freddy's Theory, you're greeted with videos from 5 years ago, whenever the 3rd game was out. So
thank you, MatPat. That really helps.
But then the theories from the 4th game didn't know that the events of the 5th game were going to happen. So people kept trying to glue together a puzzle because all the pieces weren't out yet. But now I, in the future, with the privilege of hindsight, can put together the puzzle the way that I believe it was always meant to be viewed. And I'm going to do that in a kind of controversial way.
It's poppin' Dax. New model.
Again, not only
New model.
my
Enjoying my day. Got myself a Jack Daniels.
who are a fan of the series, but also as an introductory point.
Matt Pat actively trying to argue that gender pyro is by stating awkward finger spaces. I mean, it's Matt Pat. He's got to come up with some ideas.
So in order to achieve both of those ends, and again putting emphasis on the fact that this is a cool story that deserves to be told, I am simply not going to explain myself. At least not entirely explain myself. Like, several of the things on this board go against the majority of the community's interpretation of what happened. So whenever I have a real controversial take, I'm going to explain that. But like over here, I have one of William's children listed as being named Evan. In order for you to understand the story, I don't need to sit here for 10 minutes and tell you about we got the name Evan because in the survival book, which is an accompany book for the games, they found a series of numbers on one page and then added them together by the page number at the bottom and then went over to a letter grid and input those values and got the name Evan. Because if you're not familiar with the series, that's how we found out everything. And again, while I think stuff like that is cool, more people, at least currently, are focused on if his name's Evan or not, rather than the entire plot and story of what happened. And I think that the latter is far more interesting. So I know this has been a long introduction, but there's a lot to explain. As always, there's going to be timestamps in the description for what I'm describing, but I'm going to go through the timeline, or my opinion of the timeline,
Purple guy.
Freddy's video game series, as well as talk about the characters. And then from there, we will begin talking about the VHS tapes and the other YouTube horror shorts based around Five Nights at Freddy's, because I think they're really cool. And if any of this sounds cool to you, stick around after the ad, as we're going to get into pretty much the entirety of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. But before you listen to me ramble for an absurd length of time, let's make sure you're listening the right way with today's sponsor, Raycon earbuds. With over 48,000.
Do you guys actually really think that Raycons work? I mean, I've seen people sponsor them. Hell, one of my friends bought them. Wasn't really sure if they actually work or not.
Not only do they fit comfortably in your ear, but as you can see, they're very slim and discreet while you're wearing them. And thanks to that design, whenever I sit down at my computer to play video games,
I haven't put mine in my ass yet. What the fuck? Wait, no, that's not how that works.
never a problem. Not only that,
Hey, how's it going?
Raycon earbuds latch comfortably into your ear,
Drawing,
and regardless of
streaming,
how you move your head,
watching Wendigoon.
fall out. Not only that, but Raycon also offers a 32-hour battery life with
Ah,
playtime. As soon as you charge them up, you're good to go for the rest of the day. Furthermore, Raycons offer a push-button feature on the side of both earbuds, so if you need to skip through the music or pause the music or even pick up a call, you can do that by simply tapping the earbuds and never taking your phone out of your pocket. And thanks to Raycon, if you go to the link in the description at buyraycon.com/Wendigoon, you will be able to get your Raycon earbuds for 15% off. That's right, just go to the link below at buyraycon.com/Wendigoon, and you will be able to get this fantastic audio package at 15% off. What's not to love? Thank you all so much for watching the ad, and thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring the video.
Why are you guys talking about Wiimotes?
I hope you all check them out. Link is in the description, and we are back to the video. We are going to go ahead and get into it, but as always, thank you for watching. The first thing to understand about the Five Nights at Freddy's series is that at its core, it's the story of two people. Those two people are William Afton and Henry Emily. Henry and William were business partners, and they went in as partners together on a new branch of children's entertainment. This new style of children's entertainment would be demonstrated on their first business venture together, a restaurant known as Fredbear's Family Diner. With later entries of the series, as many people have pointed out, you could think of the restaurants as a sort of Chuck E. Cheese establishment.
Wait, what?
The kind of places that would have singing animatronics, as well as arcade games and pizza parties for children of all ages. However, at least in the beginning, Fredbear's wasn't like that. It was a much smaller establishment that boasted two animatronics. The down to earth, homey nature of it is
Yeah, I
even
totally forgot
present
about
in the
this.
name of Fredbear's Family Diner. It certainly seems like a passion project, not only in the name and very nature of a children's entertainment business, but also in the attitudes of the two owners. From everything we see later in the series, it seems like Henry was the business and managerial side of the partnership, while William was more interested in the day to day operations and specifically the construction of the animatronics. What made these animatronics unique and the thing that set their business apart from other competitors was the addition of something William dubbed as spring lock suits. The core idea
Sorry,
behind
family
the
needed
spring
something.
lock suit is that it is initially a normal animatronic.
No,
However,
it's
if
okay.
someone were to
What
twist the gear on the
what
back of
video are
the
you watching?
costume, the animatronic
It's Wendigoon explaining the FNAF
would
timeline.
allow a worker to
Oh
step
god.
inside of the animatronic itself and use it as a costume. Whereas at other establishments,
Gonna use a stream as an opportunity to draw on
stage, and then a worker
Soul
would
Waifu
run
for
up
my
to
next
someone
commission.
else,
Oh,
in a kind of dollar store
you want to
mascot
commission me or
costume. At Fredbear's
'cause I
Family
can do it
Diner,
through
they would
donations.
watch the animatronics get
I
off
think he's
stage
gonna like
themselves and come play
use
with
the
the kids.
vibes of the
It seems
stream to
like in the beginning
draw
that was
themselves.
part of the goal of
Oh,
the
okay.
to keep the magic
I
alive
think.
in the mind
I
of the
don't know.
child. And in the beginning, it seems that they had such humble beginnings that William and Henry were the people
Yeah, I'm
running
wondering
the
if
costumes themselves.
the
Despite being
FNAF
owners,
movie's
they
gonna
would
be
take the
over
time
here.
to step
I
into
don't
their
know.
own
I
respective
still got surprised that it was actually gonna
and
happen.
go play and entertain the
Yeah,
children.
it
Henry
was
would
announced
pilot
like
the
what?
restaurant's namesake, the Fredbear
Oh,
Suits.
It was like,
5 years?
no, not even 5 years. Like, it was like a whole, like, 9 to 10 years.
Rabbit costume
Would you rather listen to Wendigoon explain JoJo lore
perhaps part of
or
this
me explaining through thoroughly the entirely sexual intercourse? I want actually the first one. Sounds interesting. If Wendigoon's voice is really nice to listen to.
2015.
Jesus.
However, he's never mentioned anywhere in the games. So again, I'm just talking the
I'm
games.
not
He
doing like a
doesn't
stupid
exist up
math
here.
and
Something that I want to mention really quick on this timeline is if an event is inside of a red
7
box,
years.
that is a
Yeah, Jesus.
year that event happened.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of surefire times we get in the series, so the few that you see with the red box are times we know this happened on this date. The blue boxes are more so guesstimates. In other words, the thing I'm about to talk about says 1980, but it could have also been 81 or late 70s, or the year doesn't really matter. 1980 is just a guess. Looking at the timeline, we can see that William and Henry started Fredbear's Family Diner around 1970,
I was going to
and
look up
then,
something.
thanks in no small part to the dedication
Right.
of the owners themselves, as well as the
Forgot what
invention
it
of
was.
spring lock suits, a decade later they are able to expand their brand, as
Oh,
around
right.
1980,
Can't
William
understand on
opens
mouse.
Afton Robotics, and William and Henry continue to expand the business itself with Fazbear Entertainment, which becomes a sort of industrial chain of Freddy Fazbear restaurants. Things were going great for the two. Henry was continuing to manage the brand as it was expanding, and William continued to create more odd and interesting robotic figures.
Barely for 30 seconds, the comm already looks halfway done. No, it's not. It's just, you know, it's still working on it.
Seems to have a camera inside, as well as a series
You need to go to bed.
later dubbed Funtime animatronics
I've been in
that
bed
it
the
seems
whole day.
William was building during this time.
You rest them more till you get better.
I only have to
from
cough. That's
accomplishing
it.
great things in the realm of children's entertainment. That was
Also,
until
Dax.
the accident
Uh-huh.
happened in 1983.
You
For
know,
whatever reason,
apparently
it
there's a game
seems that Evan
called
was
BTS Island.
particularly terrified
BTS
of the
Island?
animatronics his father was
BTS Island.
building. And no one's really certain.
Okay.
People who have gathered information from the
And
books have speculated that
Twitch
perhaps
are
William was purposefully making
offering
his child
a
afraid of the
Star
animatronics because William
Interesting.
was dangerous.
BTS
Because you know,
Island,
animatronic
BTS
suits that have like wires and gears.
Salty's OC with a dick. You mean Salty DK Dan or another Salty? Looks pretty. It's real pretty right now. I mean, granted, I have this overlay, so it's a lot more saturated or desaturated. Sorry, desaturated.
It even seems that William had put cameras throughout his house so that while he was working on his animatronics, he could monitor exactly what his son was doing. In the meantime, Evan's older brother, Michael, began to torment Evan over his fear of these creatures. See, at this point, the brand had extended from not only Fredbear's Family Diner, but there was also Fredbear and Friends, and there were several other mascots that would stand on stage along with Fredbear. One of these was a character by the name of Foxy. So, Michael would wear a Foxy mask and begin tormenting his brother because he thought it was funny. William didn't seem to mind this, perhaps even encouraging it, as he saw it as another way to keep his son safe. The events of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which again according to me is the earliest game in the timeline, followed the nightmares of young Evan Afton. The reason the animatronics look so over the top
SNK?
and terrifying is because
They're a
animatronics. These
company that made arcade games back in the 90s to early 2000s. They're the one that made Metal Slug.
And Evan is spending these
And
sleepless nights trying to evade these creatures.
William is fucking terrible. Yeah, no, he's fucking horrible dad. Tormented his son and told the other one to go fuck off because he killed his son.
Michael and his friends all wearing the mascot's faces.
William Afton, the purple guy.
And make him get closer and closer to the animatronics themselves. Until Michael makes a joke that Evan wants to give Fredbear a kiss, which the boys put Evan into Fredbear's mouth, and whenever the
Nice.
animatronic bites down,
Base dad, just like mine. No, that's horrible.
Evan doesn't die yet, at least not immediately. His family rushes him to the hospital where he remains comatose for the next couple days. In the final levels of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, it's possible when looking back at the bedside to see things like a hospital IV bag or flower pot. Not only that, but the nightmares within the final nights of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 transition from being the general different animatronics from the restaurant to just nightmarish apparitions of Fredbear himself. While Evan is lying in the hospital bed, we hear Michael tell Evan that he's sorry and ask for his forgiveness. Until the Fredbear plush itself begins to speak to Evan. As established earlier, this is one of William Afton's camera plushies, so it's safe to assume that this is William speaking to his son. In his final moments, we hear William say that it's going to be okay and that he's going to put Evan back together before everything fades out and Evan seemingly passes away. Now, if you're a big aficionado of the series, you may disagree with that placement in the story. However, this, as well as the events that happen directly afterwards, are so debated, and there's so many different options of when this happened, or this happened before this, or blah blah blah. But again, as a story, this makes the most sense to me as the catalyst that began everything. William, a man who wanted to entertain children and managed to do so for decades, began his mad descent when one of his children used one of William's own creations to kill his other child. And then in that father's desperation, he begins experiments and procedures to try to maintain the soul of a child. See, that's where the horror comes from. For those of you who may have not known anything else about the Five Nights at Freddy's games, you've probably heard it has to do with dead children possessing animatronics. And while the rules of it aren't explicitly laid clear, at least not in the video games themselves, it seems that if a child is killed by an animatronic or a piece of their body is put into that animatronic after death, that their soul possesses the animatronic itself. You can essentially think of it as a haunt or a haunted house. If someone dies in a derelict mansion, then they haunt that derelict mansion. If someone dies and their body is put inside of an animatronic, then their spirit possesses that animatronic. And that is exactly what happens here. While we do not know the details of how or why or what happened, either because Fredbear killed Evan or potentially afterwards William put pieces or all of Evan's body into Fredbear, Evan's spirit possessed the Fredbear animatronic. See, now the color coding makes sense. This wasn't just a Sunday school teacher giving to make the letters look cool. It had a purpose, because now Evan is the spirit of Fredbear. I don't know if you can see the Fredbear good. If I turn the lights off, the reflection isn't there. So yeah, Fredbear is Evan, at least for now. I'm not sure how, perhaps just being around Fredbear and seeing signs that his child was still inside of the suit, or maybe even some kind of weird science that William applied to the suit itself whenever he made it. Either way, it seems that William figured out his son Evan was inside of the Fredbear suit. As you could imagine, not only the death of William's child, but now his child being trapped in a suit of his own invention changed William's life forever. It seems that
Let's
from
see.
here, William wanted to better understand what had happened to
Bruh, he
Evan.
doesn't have a
So
lot
he
of
began to
um
modify the
interaction
aforementioned
string.
Funtime animatronics with the express purpose of trapping another child so that he could figure out how the whole soul possession works. His primary contender in this being an animatronic known as Circus Baby. Circus Baby was specifically designed with a giant claw inside of its chest
Sorry
cavity,
about that.
as well as
Also, welcome to the
sensors
chat.
that would always
No, you're
calculate and
not.
determine how many
Shut up.
people were currently
Stupid.
in the room.
Okay.
He did this with the intent of Circus Baby managing to get a child alone all by themselves so that its claw could then come out and grab the child before dragging it into its chest cavity to be killed.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank.
Also, fun fact: William Afton is canonically British, making him officially evil, regardless of what happens.
Oh
With
no,
all
not
due respect,
British.
those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
This is, at least according to my timeline, the beginning of William's evil and murderous intent. It seems that the death of his own child pushed William to such extreme lengths that he was now willing to kill another kid.
British gross. Hey, Atticus, how are you doing?
See what happened to his son, or
Hey, I
perhaps even
guess.
find a way to bring him back. During the construction of Circus Baby, William's daughter Elizabeth was in
Oh
love
yeah,
with
I'm
him,
still
probably
grinding
because
on
it
the
was an
weapons for Modern
animatronic
Warfare
that
2.
looked like a young
Nice.
girl and had the ability to serve ice cream. On the
I'm on the
opening day
SMG,
of a new Freddy
but because
Fazbear
I unlocked
sister
the Honey
location
Badger, I'm working
known
on
as
that right
Circus
now.
Baby's Pizza World,
Nice.
Elizabeth managed to get away from her
Can I confirm
father
British
and
folk
go see
are
Circus
like
Baby
are just
at
like this?
home.
Yep, that seems about right.
Circus Baby animatronic, calculating that Elizabeth was the only one in the room, put out a piece of ice cream to serve her before grabbing her and bringing her into her chest, to which Elizabeth
Get scooped, bitch.
Did you know that I was on stage once? It wasn't for very long, only one day. I would always
If
get
Grouch
on
was here,
stage
he would be hard
and
for the
show
robot.
off. I was always
Thank God he's
acutely
not
aware
here.
He's
of
not
how
here.
many
Otherwise, he'd
there
be like,
were
"Shut
in
up!
the
You know I
room.
would do it.
There
This is
were
my Grouch
4,
voice."
then 3, then 2,
That
then
sounded like
1.
your voice.
Yeah, no, that's just Grouch.
What happened when there was 1?
My comment didn't go through.
A little
Damn.
girl standing
What
by
comment?
herself. I was no longer
Send it on
myself,
Twitch because I don't have
and I
moderation
stopped
on YouTube.
singing. My stomach opened,
Oh wait, let
and
me
there
listen
was
one more
ice
time.
cream. I couldn't move, at least, not until she stepped closer. There was screaming for a moment, but only for a moment. I still hear her sometimes. Why did that happen?
Why did he
Now,
give her
it's unclear
sentience?
how William reacted to this, although
Just fuck
I
you, that's
imagine
why.
this is never what he wanted. In Five Nights at Freddy's 5, also known as Sister Location, Elizabeth mentions many times that her father tried to keep her away, and she specifically went against him
They're
in order
funny.
to go see Circus Baby by herself. It seems that he didn't want Circus Baby to kill his daughter
Next, what
Elizabeth.
are you drawing
However,
on?
that's exactly what
Procreate, and on my iPad.
Despite this, however, his
Oh.
plan seemed
I'm
to
using
be
like
to
a
get the soul of Elizabeth
AirPlay or screen mirroring.
animatronic known as Circus Baby.
Okay.
Now, whenever Evan died, it was
Yeah, I was
simply
wondering
seen
why the
as
layout
an
was looking
accident.
a bit
While Michael
odd.
and his friends caused the death of Evan, they were children
Crispy?
as well, and it could be seen as a bullying
No,
incident
not
gone
crispy.
wrong.
More like
However, when
Desaturated?
Elizabeth disappeared, that raised a lot
no,
more questions.
no.
We're
The layout
told
of the
in the
app.
games
Oh.
that the sister
Yeah, no,
location
it's on my
of
iPad.
Circus Baby's Pizza World
Okay.
It's more simplistic, and I like it. It looks a little.
we are told that it
Trust
was
me, it's a lot more brighter than it
gas
seems.
leaks.
Mhm.
This
It's mainly
obviously
because I have a
was
filter over it.
cover-up for this
I said,
incident.
"Why are you watching
However,
Scott
there
Cawthon's
is
secret
no way
video
that this
tapes?"
happened without Henry knowing.
Looks
He
like a
was
Gamer
simply
Subs Cup
directing
design now.
video over Fazbear's
Oh shit, yeah, you're right.
and there's no way
I mean, it
that
could
they
be.
would
It
could be,
close
but-
the
It could
brand
be
new
a certain
location
if a
on
certain
the
company
first
will
day
hire him.
I know, right?
gas leaks festival.
I can make my own Gamer Subs Cup, but you know,
And this is supported
hire
by
me.
events that happened shortly after this, is that Henry
Still can't believe
found out
Schlatt
what
actually bought
William
the
was up
company.
to. Whenever William sees that
I could literally just ask Shalat, like, "Hey, can I draw a cup and then just sell it?"
is to bring in children and then kill them,
But I
it
can't.
probably raised a lot
Whenever
of red
he's
flags.
doing
We're never
his
told this in game, but
TikToks
perhaps
or
at the same time,
videos
Henry also saw
where he
that
asks his
William
fans
was
to send
trying
him
to
stuff, he can
rebuild
probably
his son Evan,
scoop in
or
there.
put Evan
saying
back
something.
into the Freddy.
Be like, if I get like 5% of the market price, I'll make my own cup.
So disgusted, at least by what he saw with
You gotta
circulating
talk business with the man, otherwise he won't take you seriously.
Potentially,
He
Henry
is a
never
businessman.
alerted the authorities
Exactly.
because, for one,
He takes 95%, I take 5%.
for at least 10 years, and
I think
two,
he's probably gonna give
William's
you only
actions has
3%.
I'm
caused
fine with
the
that.
death of his own daughter.
Just as long as I'm making
Henry
something.
saw that as
Yeah,
punishment.
I heard
Either way,
3 or
Henry
2.
didn't alert the authorities.
I'm
but he
going only for
continued
3 or
to run
5.
the business.
Highest
There
10.
is a scene within a minigame
Highest
in
is a
Five
very
Nights at
bad.
Freddy's
Highest is a
6, also
very
known as Pizzeria Simulator.
rare one.
The minigame
I
is
doubt
called
he's gonna go for
Midnight
10.
Motorist, and there is a
He'll
part in
probably
it
go
whenever
between
you're
5 and 3
playing
again.
as a little sprite that is believed to be William Afton. Again, everything in this entire series is entirely circumstantial. And while playing as William Afton, you walk up to a building called Junior's. Now, a place called Junior's is never mentioned anywhere else in the series. However, general consensus is that Junior's
Wait,
is
hold on.
the first
How did
offshoot
Badger
location
got
of
his own?
Fredbear's Family Diner.
People kept requesting gamer subs to give them custom made one, and they got it. That's how.
Fazbear's Pizza. The
Okay.
worker at the front door says, "You
Yeah,
know
that
you
makes
can't
sense.
be here. Don't make this any harder than it has to be." Which means the person at the front door, either Henry or an
Don't
employee
swallow,
of
it still
Henry,
hurts.
recognizes William and says, "You
I tried to
can't
take
be
I
here.
tried to take some
Don't make
cough
this
syrup,
worse
but
than
my
it
brother
has to be." A
finished
lot
it.
of people say that
You.
minigame takes place during the events
Why
of Five
you?
Nights at Freddy's
You.
2.
That's why.
However, I don't
No, why?
agree.
No,
due
I
to
can't tell you
the
why.
mentioned
Just you.
in the rest of that Midnight
Okay.
Motorist minigame, it seems that William goes home,
It was
to
cherry
which
flavor,
someone on the couch tells
Eh.
him, quote, "Leave
but
him
it still
alone,
tasted
he's had
gross.
a rough day." Before William goes to someone's room, yells at them to let him in, before he walks outside and sees that whoever was in the room broke the window and went to, quote, "that place again." Now, this is all speculation because most of the stuff in this series is speculation. What are you going to do? It seems to me like this person
That all you
on the
see
couch
is
is
violence in
talking
movie.
to William
That's on
and
TV.
although she's never seen in the series
Shut
again,
the
that's
fuck
the only
up.
character that can make sense here. And the child that he is berating is his only surviving child, Michael. Michael is now terrified
Maybe
by his
Rusty could
father
probably
and
recite the whole thing.
remorseful for the actions that he
Rusty
has
really is
taken.
the kind of motherfucker that would like do anything for a Kit Kat bar.
William says that Michael is going to that place again. He's
Oh wait, wrong
realizing
candy.
that
Klondike bar.
because maybe Michael's trying to figure out.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're in Mexico.
Like I
You
said,
go.
that
You
was
don't. You're not allowed to have fun.
but it makes the most sense to me. The core takeaway from it
Okay.
is that William is now being kicked out of the locations that he helped create by his business partner Henry. And while Henry
that
was
red?
in his right to do so,
It's like a brown.
with a child scooping
It's like
animatronic that he built. Like you
poop
can't let
brown?
that guy keep working around.
It's more like a
Henry becomes
chocolate
paranoid
brown.
with the idea that William will try to retaliate.
brown.
It looks brown. It looks poop brown to you because it's it has a filter over it.
An animatronic known as
One was
the
outlawed.
or just the puppet. This puppet is designed for the express purpose
And another
of
character that people jacked off to for some reason.
also known as Charlie. One day,
Yeah.
William, perhaps in the
You're
midst of
weird.
a rage towards his business partner Henry, William decides that he is going to take from Henry what William had accidentally taken from himself.
Criminal,
Again,
criminal,
as we
criminal,
can see
criminal,
throughout
criminal,
the
criminal.
video game series, one day Charlie is locked outside, to which William Afton pulls up in his vehicle, kills
Okay,
the
I'll
young
pull up.
child before driving away and leaving her body in an alley. Now, normally, the marionette puppet would have stopped this from happening, as its entire purpose is to follow Charlie around and protect her. However, during this event, it seems that the puppet was trapped and unable to get to
Now
Charlie
that I got
until it was too
now that I
late.
got Steam
Eventually,
Monitor
the puppet works
and
its way
Xbox Game Pass,
outside
I can
in order
play
to
on my
find the
PC
young
without
girl, to
having
which
to
whenever the puppet gets there,
Mm.
the deed has already been
go
done. The puppet,
my console
unable
and
to
turn
do
on this
anything else,
computer.
lies down next to Charlie, to which it seems
Yo,
through
when's
whatever
Charlie doing the Family Guy
supernatural
death pose?
means is filled throughout this narrative,
Yes.
the spirit of Charlie possesses the puppet. Perhaps William killed
fun.
Charlie outside that day because
Ooh.
it was just a moment of
Wow.
opportunity, or perhaps he did it away from the animatronics.
Which it didn't have to be an alcoholic drink, but I guess it
Someone
is.
had been killed in the proximity of an animatronic,
Drinking a peach cocktail.
get into it. And perhaps
Jack
William
Daniels.
killed Charlie outside in order to prevent him
Why not?
possessing an animatronic. However, despite his efforts, as noted here, the spirit of Charlie now possesses the marionette puppet. I
Oh,
like the
wrong
idea
color.
of Charlie being the first murder victim of William, not only because it matches the story more.
Oh, so he didn't kill people beforehand. Huh, okay.
More purposeful, But in
Yeah.
the events that follow,
Hey, Dax.
the
What?
animatronics
I
are
got something
only
for you.
possessed
What?
because the puppet attaches that spirit to each animatronic. So in order for any of the victims
Pain.
to possess future animatronics, the puppet has to be dead first. Not only that, but a line that Henry says in Pizzeria Simulator heavily implies that
Garfield. Garfield ears.
first victim of William's killing spree.
Not until I undo what he has done.
I thought that was you.
Heal this wound.
What?
A wound
I thought this recording was of you for a minute. This audio of him speaking, me listening curiously while knowing nothing about FNAF lore. Basically, two dudes create a restaurant. One dude is like, haha, I'm gonna murder a bunch of kids. I think that's how that goes. He basically goes, haha, I'm gonna murder a bunch of kids and get away with it. I'm gonna create these robots to hide their bodies in. He gets, those kids get killed, and then his partner is like, hey, you need to get the fuck out of here before I get the cops because I know it was you who did it. Kicking him out of the only place he made. And then his kids get killed off by the same robots he made. Therefore, he starts going into a state of mania where he tries hiding the evidence of all that he did. And it led him to basically getting killed inside of a fucking robot suit. But that's basically just watered down.
first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this.
So due to Charlie's death, the rest
He's the hero of the story. No, he's fucking not. He's a horrible person.
reopens as the new and improved
I mean,
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
from a certain
I
point of
think
view.
it is
Shut up.
shortly after the reopening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
There's no certain point of view in this.
Incident occurs. For those
He's a
that don't
terrible
know,
person.
there is a mention in the first Five Nights
And
at
British.
Freddy's game, and at the time this was the only lore for the overall series that we ever got, in which a newspaper clipping says that 5 children went missing at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and that's the reason it got shut down. That Freddy Fazbear's Pizza that got shut down because 5 children went missing is the current pizza place that I'm talking about in the timeline. And I'll pull the timeline back up in a second to look at, but I want to add the final names to this board first. But in short, we have the original Fredbear's Family Diner, and then we have some restaurants like Circus Baby's Pizza World that open then get closed, and maybe some other projects that we're not told about in the series. But after Fredbear's, we get Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Charlie is killed outside of it, so it is shut down and now reopened. It is shortly after this reopening, I think the missing children's incident occurs, and here's why. Whenever you are playing...
Turn around all the bad guys. Stabbing kids and dumping their bodies into robots, I can forgive, but British is something I draw the line in. I know, right?
Who is giving you the instructional messages over the phone says that you are at the new reopened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Oh, dude. I thought he was gonna be like, hello.
And over the course of that week, he says that an
I found something
investigation
funny.
is taking place.
Okay, so just to update you, there's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close for a few days. I don't know.
Now we know that the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 2,
Yes.
that week
What?
that you're playing as the security
I found
guard,
something funny.
What? Okay.
Hold on, let me go where the volume is.
God damn it. POV, Freddy Fazbear's clapping William Afton's cheeks. This is what would happen if you actually had sex with an animatronic. That's not even a joke. That's literally what would happen. It's like, oh, time to get all hot and bothered. Ding, 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 ding. No more penis for you. It is gone.
So yeah, that was the.
Minor pleasure. That's what the cockroach hears when I fucking trap it inside of a cup and spray it with fucking Raid.
Please put a scratch.
Average male genitalia.
That was a purple guy that sound.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Well, he's gonna get in chat. T-spot the scratch. 2010.
British Fastback.
What?
That's the British version of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Take place in 1987.
Hello, hello.
Will say that the
I wanted to
missing
record a
children
commercial for you to
incident
help you get settled
happened
in
before the
your
old
first night.
restaurant was ever shut down.
I swear to God, if we ever make a FNAF version of like the Dax server, I'm going to make Rouch the only threat. He's the only one who's the threat.
Make it like the FNAF 3 where there's a single one where you can actually hurt you, and the rest are like.
And the rest are just like illusions, but like everyone's just like, ah, shit. No, sorry, that's my mom. That's my mom. That's my mom. You can see my last name. Didn't need to see that. You didn't need to see that. I don't know why he did that. Hold on, I'll turn that off real quick.
Oof. No, you cannot be Freddy. I'm Freddy.
She keep.
You're gonna have to drop salty noodles. Choose Veronica with a cock. Why?
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, no, she scared the fuck out of me. It's a good thing that you only saw her last and first name.
Mm-hmm. And we also saw the background that you had.
Actually, no, that was her maiden and last name. So, yeah. I tell them not to do that, but they keep fucking doing that. It's a good thing I don't have any of that. So, whatever. All right.
Hey, at least your parents call you instead of coming into your room or.
Well, I tell them to send me a message. Not to call me, goddamn.
Well, that
Or
too,
in
but
other words,
yet
around
again,
the
you can
same
be
time
very
Charlie was
distracted and
killed.
not see
However,
the message for hours.
that wouldn't make sense if it's a current ongoing investigation. Think about it. If the children disappeared in 1985 and all that time
Wait,
had passed, why would the investigation
No, that's my weed cave. The reason why I called it mini weed cave because I call my my main PC the weed cave.
That happens at the end of the work week. Also, to make sure everyone's still in the loop, in the original
The
Five
weed.
Nights at Freddy's game, which takes place
Give me the
after
money,
the events of
Lebowski.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Give me the loot.
Prequels and sequels all over the place. The
Clever
phone guy
naming.
in the first
Yes.
game mentions that the old location,
I also got
the
this.
location from Five Nights at Freddy's 2,
Ow!
down due to some
My ears.
of the bite of 87, in which an animatronic out
It hurt. Ow. The animatronics at night do tend to get a bit quirky.
Gregory, did the beat go off?
So
Gregory, did the beat go off?
Shut
Shut the fuck up.
But like I said, that happens to Jeremy Fitzgerald, the security guard you play as in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Gregory,
at
the
end
drill.
of work week.
Go get it.
So what is the investigation happening over the course of the week itself? Well, on the fourth night in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the phone guy says there is an investigation happening. On the fifth night, he says that the business is on lockdown.
Hey, listen.
And then finally on the
You fucking bitch.
he says that you're not even supposed to be here. Someone used one of the yellow suits in the back, and now none of the animatronics are
What now?
Look at the stream. Look at the stream. Look at the stream. Okay. 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 Hold on.
What is in the video or what?
The video in a bit. Hold on. I gotta find. Okay. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Oh, hold on. I can't. No, I can't play it. It's in mini. Where is it? I can't. Wait, can I just do? I can't do that. Fuck. Is it because it's on one? Okay, hold on.
I don't know. Why are you trying to play?
You'll see.
Why not just send it to the Discord?
No, because I want chat to also see it.
Fine. You can. How about you send the link instead to the Twitch?
I don't feel like it.
Fine. Fuck you. Can you not change the screen of the stream
Oh,
to
oh,
show
oh, I found it. I found it. Found it. Okay, here we go.
You found it.
Okay. Here we go.
Terrible job, Super Shit. You fucked that one up that badly.
Freddy, stop being mean to me! I'm like 12!
I'm really fucking trying, Gregory. But William Afton installed Bonzi money into my hard drive.
That was fucking horrible. No, that's not the one I wanted to find. It's this one. It's this one. Man, I wish I could actually play this one, but it won't let me because it's not letting me do multiplayer on it. Fuck. Terrible job, Super Shit. Terrible job, Super Shit.
Gregory, have you ever heard of the hit game Among Us?
Hold on. No! No! There it is! I found it!
Okay.
Here, you can just listen to it.
Did the beat go off? Did the beat go off?
Gregory, did the beat go
Shut the fuck up.
God damn it. That's so fucking funny. Hello? 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 Gregory, did the beat go off? Terrible job, Super Shit.
There's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close...
RGX? Oh, they're RGX. Fuck that.
Hey, keep a close eye on things tonight, okay? From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are actually...
What are you doing out there, bro?
Gregory, do you see that small vent on the floor?
Shut the fuck up!
Have you ever heard of Among Us, Gregory?
Shut up!
You need to vent. I know it will be hard for you to
What?
I know you can do it, Gregory. I will just say we were both in security watching the cameras. It is partly true. Wow, GGS.
That was terrible. Gregory, they're beating your ass in the quote tweet. Gregory, ratio.
I believe that this
Oh, see them all.
The murder of 5 children occurred immediately before Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and that is the investigation Phone Guy's referring to which at the end of the week he says someone wore one of the yellow suits, and now none of the animatronics are acting right. It's even mentioned at this Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that they trashed the old animatronics and got brand new ones in, known as the toy animatronics.
Oh, I can't.
And those old ones seem to
Can't do it. I can't do it.
To store the bodies of his...
That's weird. I can't do picture in picture. Okay, that's weird. Alright, tell me what you're gonna say.
Oh, hold on. Let me download it first.
An overly long analysis of FNAF security breach. Fuck that. That's an hour long.
What? Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Gregory, how about you stop climbing inside of me and start climbing inside some bitches? Stupid brown hair having ass. When's the last time you took a shower with your dirty blue colored shirt wearing ass? With your weird ass cargo shorts your mama got you to wear to school last week. But no, you decided to get stuck here with your ashy ass kneecaps and your ugly ass shoes. Who the hell wears Vans? No wonder you have no friends and decided to come be nice with robots. You loser. Yeah, I'd be crying too if I had to wear that Salvation Army ass clothing. Gregory, what I'm trying to say is your whole fit is mid, and you...
Freddy, please stop roasting my ass. Please, I didn't choose to wear Vans.
Victims. Remember earlier how I said the Midnight Motorist minigame is believed by most to occur during Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and the reason William isn't allowed back into the building is because he would have just murdered 5 children.
Or really, how many reps would you need for a commission? As many as you like, really. As much as possible, but if you just have some basic ideas, I can still do it.
Children's incident, it says that the suspect who wore the costume has been
It said suspect.
apprehended. Of course, he was never convicted because they couldn't find the body.
Sus.
I don't know why they never checked the reeking animatronics, but that's besides the point. So if Midnight Motorist takes place during the investigation of the children that William had murdered, which keep in mind during the
Oh, bro, I got a pair of Vans, bro.
all happened in the span of about a week. There is no
He's
way
talking to you, bro.
He would have got to the pizza restaurant and been turned away because he currently would have been in police custody. And also, I know this is being like super hypercritical of specific story moments, which doesn't always work, but I still think it's kind of weird. If William had just murdered 5 children, and this isn't like debatable if he murdered 5 children, this is he was
If he murdered 5 children.
arrested and they just can't find the bodies to convict him. But it's known by everyone around that William killed those kids. I think him, when he's supposed to be in police custody, coming to the door of the restaurant and then the bouncer being like, hey, you shouldn't be around here. Doesn't that seem like a very like low power push off to a guy who just murdered 5 kids in your restaurant? That sounds much more like William was doing some shady stuff and accidentally killed his own daughter and got kicked out. Not he murdered 5 kids like last week.
Hey, man, you need to get out of here.
Midnight Motorist.
As she needs at the moment, if she is talking to you.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Is your name Gregory?
We find out these names from a point
Well,
later in the series.
is it?
But the 5 children who were killed by William Afton during the incident were Gabriel, Fritz, Susie, Jeremy, and Cassidy. And those
Fuck is named Fritz.
The bodies and subsequently possessed Freddy, Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, and Fredbear, respectively. Now, it's not known
Reddington
if
Faz
William
bitch.
put the bodies into the animatronics or that's indicated in the puppet minigames. Or more specifically, we know that the puppet was responsible for giving life to these kids. We don't know if that means some more spiritual or metaphorical action, or if the puppet took the murder.
The missile knows where it is at all times. It knows this because it knows where it isn't. By subtracting where it is from where it isn't, or where it isn't from where it is, whichever is greater, it obtains a difference or deviation. The guidance subsystem uses
What the fuck are you playing?
Commands to drive the missile from a position where it is to a position where it isn't.
What the fuck was that?
The missile knows where it is.
Fuck you.
Jeremy Fitzgerald in that game is because 5 of them are possessed by the spirits of children murdered by William Afton.
Fuck
As we
you.
see in several of the flashbacks,
I could mute you.
William Afton is depicted as a purple
I'm going to commit great
also
crime.
known as
I'm going to
Purple Guy,
bust nut
wearing
in
a
water
security
tower.
badge. So it's more than
Damn.
likely that William gained access to the restaurant and was able to kill these kids and don the
It is pretty funny.
suit because he pretended to be a security guard and wore the purple security guard vest. This would explain why 5 children who have recently been killed try to kill the first person they see wearing a purple security uniform. The phone guy phone calls that I've mentioned are pretty much the only way that the character gets any world or lore relevance for the first couple games. At the end of the Night 6 phone call,
Remember when people thought this was based off of a fucking Please Stop Him?
that he has one job left to do.
People actually legitimately thought this game was related to an actual murder that happened at fucking Chuck E. Cheese.
A children's birthday party the next day and make sure he
It wasn't.
purple security uniform and stand very close to the animatronics.
We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow.
I'm gonna try and install GTA 5.
Wear your uniform.
It's the funny FNAF noise. Just goes wee. Wee.
The restaurant's opening, known as the Bite of 87.
What's that? The Bite of 80?
Animatronics bites Jeremy Fitzgerald, ripping out his frontal lobe. This, as you can imagine,
And I need me a girl who can bite off my frontal lobe.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza shut down at the time for good. And then on the 7th night, the final night that the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is opened, a new security guard comes in to work only one night by the name of Fritz Smith. Fritz is never mentioned anywhere else in the timeline, although it's weird that in a restaurant where people are actively dying due to the animatronics, some random guy would come in to
What?
work one night. For reasons I'm going to explain.
What's your question?
I believe
Was that
Fritz
the bite of
Smith is
87?
an
Shut the fuck up.
who is now out and trying to find answers to his father's wrongdoings. The last thing I want to mention before I put the timeline back up is that if you'll notice here, Cassidy is said to possess Fredbear. But if you'll also look up here, Evan is also possessing Fredbear. All the animatronics in the series that have been possessed can move around on their own free will except for Fredbear. The primary belief for this is, if you'll remember,
Huh?
the Fredbear costume is
Yeah, it's a little loud.
and an animatronic. So if you were to have it set on,
I'm pretty sure you could put it down on your end.
corner and someone's to possess that, they can't move and are essentially stuck
Understood.
inside of a decrepit mascot uniform. Whereas all these other ones who are possessed are functioning animatronics and are able to move about on their own free will. In the Five Nights at Freddy's survival logbook, yes, that's a real phrase I just said out loud. Without going into all the specifics, it seems that there is a conversation taking place between two hidden authors on the pages themselves. For example, there will be faded text asking, "Do you know your name?"
I'll think about it.
Responses written in the text elsewhere in the book. It's two people having a conversation with each other, and without going into the nitty-gritty of how this was determined, because again, it was a lot. By the way, I didn't mention this enough earlier. Big shout out to Game Theory, also known as MadPat. Like, I understand he has also done the thing I mentioned where people get hyper-focused on the details and forget the story, but none of this would be possible without the amount of work and research that guy and his community has done to figure out all of this information to the point where a lot of the flippant facts that I'm giving you wouldn't be known if it wasn't for his videos. So, gotta respect.
Yeah, but I haven't even played GTA at all either.
But due to work mostly done by him, it is determined that there are two souls possessing the Fredbear animatronic. These two souls being Cassidy and Evan, as mentioned earlier. And also, they can't move. They're just stuck in a suit talking to each other. So that's, pretty sad. Alright, so just to recap everyone to make sure we're on the same page. 1970, William and Henry start Fredbear's Family Diner. In the 80s, the business expands into several restaurants and more of a corporate entity.
Entity?
1983 is when the events of FNAF 4 happened, where Michael kills Evan using the mouth of the Fredbear animatronic, and all of the nightmares that Evan have take place during that time. Because of this, William builds the Circus Baby animatronic with the intention to kill and kidnap a child. And I say both in 1983, they were probably in the same year, maybe 1984, whatever. So in 1983...
I was thinking we could also watch the Walton Files after this. Like, an examination of it. Not sure who would be good though. I'm pretty sure Wendigoon also made a Walton Files video. I might need to look into that.
I saw a video.
Charlotte, as I have said here, to which William then kills Charlie. And
We're not playing the Waco one, okay?
the spirit of Charlie. Because of that,
You recorded the Waco incident thing.
probably around 1985.
Oh, it's a cult basically got attacked by the feds.
Fazbear's Pizza. New animatronics are brought in to take the place of the old ones.
It was pretty bad.
Around the same time that the missing children's incident occurs right before Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So the bodies of the children from the missing children incident, either by William or the puppet, are stuffed into the old animatronics.
Oh yeah, he got arrested. His house got raided by the Romanian police.
At the end of that week, the bite of 87 occurs, which is when during the day shift, one of the animatronics bites Jeremy Fitzgerald's frontal lobe out, technically not killing him because it's mentioned in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 that someone can live without a frontal lobe, but that doesn't mean he lives well or for very long afterwards. I have spring lock failures mentioned here. That doesn't mean directly in 1987. Whenever we get to Five Nights at Freddy's 3, there's a mention on one of the recorded tapes that one of the restaurants was shut down for having several spring lock failures.
After learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous spring lock failures, the company has deemed the system to be temporarily unfit for employees.
And then finally, on the final night that the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is opened, Michael comes to work as the night guard on night 7 under the alias of Fritz Smith before he is fired when the place is shut down. You good? Did that all make sense? We good? Good, because now I'm on to the first game. No, I'm not.
Oh, sweet God.
About the original Five Nights at Freddy's. Do you see why this is so confusing? People give creators like MatPat and stuff a hard time for this, but like if you were in it whenever this was happening, you had to just totally guess about everything I just said because we got rough hints and newspaper clippings as to what
There's
happened.
a guy called
Like,
Aiden
yeah,
Ross.
a lot of the theories get kind of ridiculous and out there. But man, there was so much we were filling in the gaps for. So now we are finally to the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 occurring in 1993. In it, a security guard by the name of Mike Schmidt gets a night job.
Yep, it seems about right.
Opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. So last time, I'll go through the restaurants at least for now. We had Fazbear's Family Diner, which is the one where Evan got his head chopped, and then that shut down. We had Fredbear and Friends, which is the one where Charlie was murdered outside of, and that got shut down. We then had Freddy Fazbear's Pizza open, which is where 5 children were murdered, and one security guard had the front part of his brain taken out, and that was shut down. And now finally, we have Freddy Fazbear's Pizza reopening, and Michael working as the security guard. The reason I'm so confident in saying that Michael is Mike Schmidt is because, for one, Mike's name is Mike. And also, in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and Five Nights at Freddy's 1, whenever Fritz...
Welcome to the chat, if you showed up.
On the pink fire slip, it says that they were fired due to odor. While this probably started out as just a joke in the first one, I think it is enough of a clue in to tell us that this is the same person. And also, it makes the most sense for a storyline. Because if these guys aren't Michael, then in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, some random guy showed up for one night to fight for his life against animatronics and then never showed up again. And then in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, you have a guy who is almost being murdered by animatronics every night he's working there, but then comes back to work the next day. It only makes sense to me if this is Michael who is braving these horrors in order to try to right his father's wrongs, or at least figure out what happened to his father. It's like Chekhov's gun. It would be completely pointless to introduce 2 characters who never show up again and have no other plot relevance when you can have one character fill both of those roles and make the story more meaningful. Anyway, it's mentioned by Phone Guy in the original Five Nights at Freddy's that they took the animatronics from the FNAF 2 location, the old decrepit ones, and gave them a remodel, and those are now the animatronics they're using on stage.
Yeah, did it just come out?
In other words, the animatronics that are possessed...
Fuck yeah, we can play it tomorrow.
...just got a remodel, and now they're back on stage again. And once again, the reason they are trying to kill you, the player, which is also you, Michael Afton, is because you're dressed in the security
GMT? I don't know what that means either.
Man that killed them. And probably since it's Michael, also looks a little bit like him too. I also didn't mention this earlier. There's a lot of people who say Williams'
not sure.
tally is like 10 children that he murdered.
So if it's going to be 10 a.m.
However, that doesn't show up anywhere in the story, and the main reason they say that is so all of the animatronics that try to attack you in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the toy animatronics and the old ones, are all possessed, so that would make sense.
Maybe.
However, it's mentioned by
I think so.
in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that the toy animatronics have a
It's
facial recognition system that
standard
is
time
to a criminal database, so that they will be able to alert anyone or know if there's any predators among the children. Because that's what Phone Guy says, who's to say they can't also attack people linked to that database.
No. It's going to be
and since the puppet was there at Five Nights at Freddy's 2, remember the one that started all of this, and we know that the puppet can manipulate animatronics. At the very least, Charlie put the bodies of the children into the old animatronics so that they could possess. What's to say the puppet didn't change the facial recognition so that they would just kill anyone in a security guard uniform? Again, that would also
I think so.
explain the bite of 87. And, like, especially when you see...
I could check in a bit.
Here, and very specifically where the story ends, it doesn't make any sense if there's like another 5
Why am I
children.
doing that? No,
Souls are
hold on.
just out there somewhere. It makes a lot more sense if the only children Michael killed were Charlie and then the 5 children at the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 location. Also, everyone wants to say in like all the theories I looked at that William killed a bunch of kids down here, I guess because he was in like a silly, goofy mood. Because everyone tries their hardest, and I'm not talking about anyone specifically, this is just like the general air from the community. Everyone tries so hard to make this story as one-dimensional as possible and just say, William, bad, he killed kids here, he killed kids again, and that's it. And while yes, William bad, it is
Well, yes, William Bat. Yeah, no shit, child murderer.
interesting, and the reason that this story's always intrigued
Hey,
me.
Dax.
His
What?
son was killed by his other
Someone
son
named Archie
using an
is telling me
invention
that
of
he
his
ate
own making, and then
Arby's.
he lost his mind trying to figure out how his son's soul could be preserved. That led
Hold
to
on,
the death of
can't
his
hear you.
mother, and then everything afterwards. The story becomes
What'd you say?
There's someone named Archie said that they ate Arby's.
Oh, cool.
it's much more interesting when you view this as humans with motives rather than just insert generic bad guy, kill child onto scene 2. Anyway, so the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 takes place, in which you can see the 4 animatronics, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Freddy coming to kill you, as well as apparitions of Fredbear, known to most of the community as Golden Freddy. Whenever you take into account that Evan could be the spirit inside of Fredbear, it becomes much more impactful whenever Fredbear says, "It's me," to Michael Afton, because that is Michael's younger brother who he killed, pointing out to him, "It's me," over and over again before killing him in his office, at least, if you lose the game. But during this entire time, William is released by the police. Again, they have the camera footage of him being the last one seen with the children, but they can't find the bodies and can't pin anything on him. So shortly after the events of the first Five Nights at Freddy's, William goes to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in order to cover up his evidence. This is the flashback games that we see in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, where William goes into the restaurant and begins disassembling the animatronics. Now we find out later in Sister Location that he took pieces of those animatronics and then rebuilt them into the framework of the Funtime animatronics. If you'll remember, Circus Baby was one of those, which was this private collection he had made. And now he is disassembling the animatronics that are possessed by the spirits of the children he killed and reassembling them into these animatronics of his own creation. We know that this has to take place after Five Nights at Freddy's 1 because in those flashbacks he completely destroys the original 4 animatronics. And before the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 5, also known as Sister Location. Because in Sister Location, all of the old animatronics have been reassembled by William into these new Funtime animatronics. And based on how these flashbacks end, there's no way he could have done that after the flashbacks. It had to be during. Because at the end of this minigame, we see the souls come out of the animatronics that William had been disassembling and attack William himself. Within the ruins of the derelict Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, William becomes frightened and decides to
I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger.
inside of the Spring Bonnie suit. However, if you'll remember, these suits are designed so that the animatronic components can be twisted to the sides in order to make room for someone to step into the costume. However, there is a mention in the series that if these suits get old or wet, there is a chance of a spring lock failure. Or in other words, the animatronic components shooting back into place while someone is still wearing it. So as William puts on the old suit in order to shield himself from the children,
Yep. Pain.
he is killed by a spring lock failure. And as the spirits of the children he murdered slip away, William bleeds to death in the now abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I don't want to take the timeline back down, and I don't even know how much of this you can see whenever I hang it up, But as you can see here, I have William listed on the bottom as Springtrap. Springtrap is the name that people give Spring Bonnie after William possesses the suit, because the rules still apply. If you die inside of a suit or your body's inside of it, you are now the possessed soul who is controlling that suit. So William now exists as one of these derelict souls controlling Spring Bonnie, again known as Springtrap. In events we see later in the game, someone in control at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza decides to wall up all of the old rooms in the old business locations.
Just to inform all employees that due to budget restrictions, the previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one. Work crews will be here most of the day today, constructing a false wall over the old store basement.
That someone most definitely has to be Henry. So around 1995, William is entombed in the back room of an abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, now possessing the suit known as Springtrap. It is at this point that sister location, or Five Nights at Freddy's 5, takes place. The reason it has to happen here is because William dies, or at least stops living, and starts possessing a suit that has his decomposing corpse in it at the end of these Five Nights at Freddy's 3 minigames. So he couldn't have put the spirits of the dead children or components of their suits into the Funtime animatronics after that happened. And because we see him taking apart the animatronics in those minigames, I'm going to say that he disassembled them and then reassembled them into the Funtime animatronics at the same time. So shortly after William dies and gets walled up into a back room in a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Michael decides to go figure out more about what his father was doing. It's there that Michael goes to an underground storage facility that is specifically made for the Fazbear Entertainment rental animatronics. The animatronics that are found down there are the Funtime animatronics themselves, including Circus Baby, which at the time is being possessed by Michael's younger sister, Elizabeth. This is where we get a lot of the information that indicates how Elizabeth died, how the Funtime animatronics were made, and stuff I've already mentioned. So, to very briefly describe the events that happened in Sister Location, the Funtime animatronics are essentially trapped in this underground storage facility and want a way out. So in order to do that, Circus Baby tricks Michael into helping them escape. The way Circus Baby ends up doing this is by bringing Michael to something known as a scooping room, which is where a giant machine is located that pulls out the endoskeleton of animatronics and leaves just the skin present. And this is like, I know we're talking about a series that has to do with children possessing animatronics and then like devices made to like scoop children into them and all that. But this is the most outlandish detail of the story to me, because I can accept all the possessed, haunting child stuff. It's the biology, anatomy, survival rates.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. How the fuck can a human being survive getting his entire body scooped out?
Rips a chunk of him out, and then pieces from all of the
Did I pay up?
animatronics
Yeah, he did.
in a creature.
Magic.
Innard is,
Magic.
like I said, all of the Funtime animatronics together in one collective mass, and Innard enters in to Michael somehow. I guess they say that the scooper like ripped.
And now here is the funniest video you'll ever see from FNAF.
Effectively wearing Michael as a skin.
Keep that little video right there in mind. And you're gonna see what I mean by it is the funniest thing you'll probably end up seeing.
Like, hold on, I feel like having just the fuck, what's the word in Spanish? I mean, on English. The ones that allow you to breathe. Lungs.
The lungs, yeah, the lungs would be a little surprisingly because of the muscle collage in the body. Reasons why people survive having organs that are missing, huh? Weird.
I mean, I was gonna say muscle and the heart and the brain can like function without the rest of the organs, right?
I think it might be this one. Oh wait, that's a TikTok. Fuck me, I don't want to look at TikTok. Where's that meme? Where's that meme It's a very specific meme of Michael after just walking down the street. It's just, ah, God, no. Why does meme have to be associated with a fucking bunch of cringe? God damn it. I just want the fucking funny, the walk. I want that stupid walk on YouTube. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
What, like the cutscene?
It's a cutscene, but it's this guy talking over it. And it's like the funniest shit ever because he literally explains how outlandish it is.
I hate the Modern Warfare YouTubers. They added a hidden knife in the game. You have to buy it to get it. They still have
Yeah,
a
black guy
hidden
commentates on FNAF. Okay, hold on. Let me show you guys. Let me show you this. Let me show you this.
Okay, go ahead and show us. Leave you there.
Sure.
I'm sure it's going to be like complacent with fucking
Should be.
Twitch.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is. I found it.
Hey, so look, bro, I'm in the crib bored, nigga, and I don't know why, but this cutscene from one of the Five Nights at Freddy games popped in my head, bro. This is the purple guy's son, right? This the purple guy's son. And he got entered inside of him, dog. And this is just so funny to me because this scene's so funny. Look, he walking down the street. All his neighbors outside waving to his ass. What's up, Mike? What's up, Michael? Hey, nigga, you going to work? Oh, it's lit. You feel me? Look, the next day, right? He's still looking smooth.
He's still looking smooth.
Do my shit, you know what I'm saying? He crib walking out the
He
crib.
crib walking.
Them niggas was like, yo, my nigga Mike, Big Mike, hey, you feel me? Then look, the next day, right? The next day, he looks a little green. And my nigga, the first nigga on the block, like, wait a minute. The first nigga on the block, like, wait a minute. Everybody else, like, okay, he look a little fucked up, but I mean, you know, he probably just a little sick. He might got the flu or something. You know?
I got the flu.
Right, next day, look. This nigga come out the crib even greener. My man's is like, nah, that other nigga had a point. Like, the first nigga that peeped it, he was like, wait a minute, no, this nigga not right. I ain't coming out there to say hi to that nigga today. And then look at this nigga, he's like, wait a minute, the green shirt nigga's got a point. Oh my god. This nigga is emotional.
Oh my god.
Half the block is still in their house, bro.
The house is still in the block.
This nigga, I think he got the Rona or something.
He got the Rona.
Look, next day. This nigga full purple, nigga. My man's so scared, he behind the crib. Looking over like, damn.
That is the best commentary ever. Sweet mother of God, no. He's still looking smooth. Oh my god. Holy shit. Alright, hold on. Yeah, that's my volume mixer. Alright, there we go. Sorry.
Skin suit
I had to
wears
mute
Michael
Discord
around
and
until his body
unmute the
can't
stream
take it, and
to
then
watch a
Innard
video
leaves.
without having
Now,
the
I know
headphones
there's
going on around.
explanations in the books that have to do with, oh, well, there's this substance that can keep a spirit alive, and it's called remnant, and there's all this weird voodoo
Turn off
stuff.
my
They tried
phone.
to make possession and all that into a science, like something tangible, and I think that's pretty lame, and it's also not in the video game, so I choose to ignore it. But the short version is all the animatronics combine into Innard, a chunk of Michael is ripped out, Innard goes inside of that until Michael's body can't take it anymore, and
He's still looking smooth.
Michael still survives. So
You can unlock these?
all of
Yeah,
the
you can.
animatronics are now free and roaming around to do whatever they want to do. This is mentioned in the later games, but shortly after Innard escaped from Michael, Because remember, Innard's now a collective consciousness of all of the Funtime animatronics. They kicked out Elizabeth, which is Circus Baby at the time, for some reason. I don't believe it's ever particularly said. Someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
He's still looking smooth.
Elizabeth is the daughter of William Afton, the one that killed all of them, so they're not particularly fond of that. Either way, Elizabeth, aka Circus Baby, reassembles her original form out of scrap metal and becomes a kind of junk version of herself known as Scrap Baby. Innard, which again is the collective consciousness of all of the children murdered by William, except for the puppet Charlie, who we'll get to her.
You might as well just give me the Steam credit because I'm trying to save up for Steam Deck. Yeah, so if you want to do that, go ahead.
So they do, and Innard converts itself into a
Gotcha.
known as Molten Freddy. And then if you'll look at the timeline,
Well, I'm pretty sure you could just buy it online.
30-year gap in time.
Yeah,
like,
the thing is, I don't have any money in my card.
Probably happened somewhere around 1995,
Oh.
and then nothing
Wonder if that could work.
I don't know of any stories.
Oh wait, I did give you credit for the. Oh wait, no, that's not how that worked.
You did give me money to buy the
murdered children roaming around the
no, you
sewers.
actually did.
I gave you the game.
And it becomes an especially bad thing whenever in 2023 when the events of Five.
Yeah, I was gonna say never mind because
by the year 2023, everything that
Yeah.
on this side had become a local folk.
So your best bet's probably just buying it online if you can.
Here's the abandoned pizza place where all those children were murdered. So they took
but
an
the bane's
abandoned
too
Freddy
far.
Fazbear's Pizza and
Don't be lazy.
into a spooky horror attraction known as Fazbear Frights. Where at the attraction they get a bunch of old Fazbear Entertainment merchandise and hang it up everywhere.
What's up, Mike?
Creepy abandoned pizzeria.
He's still looking smooth.
Until the phone guy says that they recovered a full animatronic.
He's crib walking down the crib. I like that guy fucking described all that shit. It's the funniest thing. So yeah, hold on, that guy actually had a point.
And sure enough, that animatronic they found was William Afton, still alive and possessing the animatronic that is carrying his own corpse.
I want to play Fortnite to get more levels for the other skins for Doomguy.
So the people of
I'm really close to unlocking Doomguy.
a great find and decide to set it up as part of the attraction.
I like how William Afton just looks like he. Like, there's a version of him in like the other FNAF games, not 3, that like he just looks like Jimmy Neutron. It's horrible. I hate that design so much. Fucking trash.
You mean the glitch trap?
Glitch trap? No, I'm talking about the one that's like super withered. Like he's losing it. He lost a limb.
Oh, you mean like the one in fuck, what's it called? I already forgot the name of it. Security lockdown.
No, not security breach. It's
And throughout the course of Five
what's it
Nights at
called?
Freddy's,
It was Ultimate Custom Night.
Afton and how he came to possess
That was the one I was thinking of.
animatronic, yada yada. Until on the final night of this Fazbear Frights location, it seems that Michael tries to burn down the building with his father in it. However, it doesn't work, and William manages to get free after 30 years of being locked up. So now, by the year 2023, we have William, who is running around as the animatronic Springtrap. We have Molten Freddy, which is the collective conscious of all of the children William killed, again, except for Charlie. We have Charlie as the puppet, also running around doing God knows what. And we have Circus Baby, who was kicked out of Molten Freddy and is now existing as her own animatronic. So this is probably bad, having all of them run around doing their own thing, especially now that William's free to do whatever he wants. And it seems that Henry, who at this point has been quiet for a pretty good while in the story, has decided that he's going to do something about it. So Henry opens up a brand new restaurant, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Opening a restaurant under a title that...
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't know how the fuck the Freddy Fazbear franchise just keeps popping up. Dude, the amount of times people have gone missing, especially kids, in a fucking restaurant themed for kids, is outstanding, and they still keep making their own fucking like place. It's incredible. I don't know how the fuck they keep making it like work.
There's another aspect to your end-of-day routine, and that is
What?
inspecting and salvaging
Hold on.
outside the back door. Things are found here quite often, and while we aren't sure why, what we do know is that they can be used for parts, which can mean a much-needed revenue boost before starting your next day.
These animatronics include Circus Baby, Molten Freddy, and Springtrap. Who, at the time
Springtrap.
of all the other workers, just seemed to be old, decrepit animatronics that it seems somebody threw
Just
out
ate Arby's.
in the restaurant in case the
Money, of
restaurant
course.
As
Well,
the
no, that's not even it. Like, why does it give? What the fuck is that, Echo?
by the way, of what animatronics
What the fuck is that? What atrocity did you just send?
I found it.
It's not even an actual PNG. It's not a PNG at all. What is this thing? This is terrible. What the fuck? It's not even a PNG.
Show it to the stream.
What the fuck? Why? What the fuck is this shit? Why?
Throwing flashbang.
Thanks for the follow, but what the fuck?
Show it to them.
It's not even a PNG. It's just shit. Look at this stupid fucking thing. What the fuck is that? Motherfucker built like an egg with legs. What is this shit?
He got the Goomba treatment.
Oh no, he looks like a Mayas. He looks like a Mayas. What the fuck is this thing? Leave it on there. It's not like a goop. Shut the fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Why did you send me this? This is the worst thing ever.
I was.
Dude, I can't believe this on the screen. My fucking my entire stream is so crowded. I got fucking Windigoon in the fucking left, on the fucking right. I have us in the left, a fucking other drawing on the top left, and chat right here in the fucking drawing that I'm drawing in the background. Now I'm just gonna add this shit. It's gonna look like a fucking shitty video game hub that has so much shit on it. Why did you send me this? This is cringe. This is fucking. Okay, fine, I'll keep it on. Fuck you. I'll keep it on. It's not even a fucking proper PNG. This is the fucking most cursed thing ever. Here, it's not even a proper PNG. It's just gonna be right here, standing on. Fuck it. Let's keep going. Oh god, that fucking hurt.
While you may have the ability to do what you want in order to get the correct or full ending of the story,
Fucking hate you for that. What the fuck?
the game also
Okay, so I was looking for Stringtrap on Ultimate Night.
Ultimate Custom Night, and you found that shit?
I found that shit.
Find rest now, not like this.
Oh fuck.
I have to call them all back, all of them,
Hold on, I got
together
this.
in one
You
place.
can remove the.
it seems
picture
that
though.
the
No, I'll just replace it.
interested in whatever it is
please,
Henry's
go
doing
ahead.
have each made their way to the pizzeria.
Fuck you, man! It took me a while. I was like, wait a minute. Why do I have a second one? And then I was like, wait a minute. I didn't put that there! You fucking ass!
Hold on, let me take it to Photoshop to actually remove the background.
To take care of her,
That's the fucking worst thing ever.
built with the soul
The true villain of FNAF. Goomba William.
Again, if you didn't know about all this story or everything happening before, that's like a really weird detail.
Oh fuck.
But again, here it makes sense because he's trying to get all the
Goomba,
animatronics
fuck you.
under one roof, and he knew that the puppet would probably be resistant to it, so he made an animatronic
Are you
specifically to
happy
catch
that
her.
you're
And
friends
then
with
on
him?
the final night of the pizzeria,
I'm in pain.
as Michael is being attacked by the animatronics, Circus Baby begins to
fuck,
tell
man.
Michael of how she's going
was
to kill
fun.
him.
This is the murder of many children.
Did you really
Right here.
think that this job
You
just
wanna know what the
arrived
name,
sky
what
for
the
you?
file the name is called?
Was it a redesign?
No, it's
This
called
was a
Kiss
gift
PNG Springtrap
us.
Telltale by
You
PK
gathered them all
Thunderbolt
together
1
in
on
one
DeviantArt.
That is the worst thing ever.
It's
All
amazing.
of those little souls in
Oh,
one
fuck you.
place.
Oh man, it was wonderful.
Just for us. A gift.
I need more of
So
this.
we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy.
No.
Watch.
What?
Listen.
She said, "I will make you proud, Daddy."
Oh
The
god.
fellowship is cut off by Henry, now making his presence known. And you know what? Rather than describing what happens next, I'll just let you hear for yourselves.
Been terminated. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Is there even remember that name? I'm afraid I'm misinformed. You're nice when you receive the gift. The called here to do the unusual gifts and one day. You know, I have a bit indeed been called. You know, I've been called here. To elaborate the sounds and smells, misdirections, and misfortune. Why do you know this? It's stuck in my fucking head.
Your lust for blood has driven you
Alright,
in
it should be
endless
better now.
circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach.
What
None of you will.
what if this was the thing that was saying that?
And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you.
Oh man.
Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want.
Just wait until the
You
other
are
guys
right
get
where you
into
want to
it.
be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby.
I am nearby.
Remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well.
Why did he have to kill himself, though?
The innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
And with that, we have the end of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. Almost. See, there's one extra game in the series, known as Ultimate
Connection
Custom Night.
terminated.
And for any outsider looking in, it looks like just a bonus mode. It's just one night, and you can choose any of the animatronics from the series, set them to whatever difficulty you want, and then based on how hard of a difficulty you complete each of the challenges, you're given these kind of goofy cutscenes. It seems just like a fun free play mode, right? Well, every now and then, whenever you're killed by one of the animatronics in Ultimate Custom Night, they give you a kind of threatening message that seems directed to you, the person.
You won't die, but you'll wish you could.
I recognize you, but I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore.
What was the first thing I thought when I saw the... Whenever I heard that voice line was Ralph Wiggum saying, "I like men now." You never seen that?
You'll be taken to a sort
Dax,
of
thank you.
pristine lake where you're controlling a sprite that looks like Fredbear, to which Old Man Consequences tells Fredbear, "Leave the demons to the demons and rest your own soul." It seems like this Ultimate Custom Night is William Afton's personal hell. And not only that, but it is being curated by the spirit within Fredbear. If you'll remember, Evan and Cassidy are both within Fredbear itself. And whenever William dismantled all of the animatronics in order to put them into the Funtime animatronics, which eventually became Molten Freddy, it was left very ambiguous if Golden Freddy was among those who were captured. So if it's true that Golden Freddy was not brought into the fold of Ennard, that would mean that after Henry burnt the pizzeria and made all of them pass to the other side, that Golden Freddy was exempt from that. Or if Golden Freddy was a part of Ennard and was burned up in the pizzeria, then it seems like both of the souls in Golden Freddy, or one of the souls in Golden Freddy, doesn't want to let go. Now, there's a lot of evidence to say that this spirit that is torturing Michael is the spirit of Cassidy, the other one possessing Fredbear along with Evan. The reason for that is some of the animatronic voice lines in Ultimate Custom Night refer to the one you should not have killed. And that couldn't be Evan because William didn't necessarily kill Evan, Michael killed Evan. However, I really want it to be Evan who's torturing William for eternity. Because not only would that be very poetic, as Evan was the first child dead that started everything, and now he's the last child who's still holding on to torturing his own father, but it also makes the story so much more personal that Evan, who was forced to live in this hell over and over again, because as his father said, he put him back together, is now forcing his father to endure what Evan and so many others had to endure as well. Either way, the spirit within Fredbear is still holding on and forcing
I think I might need to add like a blue.
their own torment rather than passing on to the other side.
Blue would be
And if
right.
you manage to complete Ultimate Custom Night on nearly the hardest difficulty, you get a final end screen of Fredbear just sitting there, twitching as the camera fades out. Is this a representation that Fredbear is going to continue to fight and torture William for time infinite, or is the fading away symbolic of Fredbear finally letting go? Who's to say? But what I will say is that completes the Five Nights at Freddy's timeline. Probably, maybe. A lot of this was guesswork and speculation, but that's pretty much on par for the series. So, my plan was to have this video as it is, and then immediately just keep talking and run into the VHS tapes. My plan was also to make this Five Nights at Freddy's lore section like 20, 30 minutes, and this is not that. So,
What was that?
normally would just say, oh, I don't care about making a 4 or 5 hour long video. I think it would be a discredit to the creators of the VHS tapes like Squimpus, McGrimpus, and whatnot if I put the VHS tapes now after, what's this going to be, like an hour and a half, 2 hours of video, and then start talking about their content, because their content's really cool and I want to give it the attention it deserves. Not, okay, go watch me talk for an hour and a half and then I'll talk about those guys. And also, a lot of people wanted to see the FNAF timeline or my take on it anyway, so this wasn't like lost time at all. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just upload this video as it is, just like the Five Nights at Freddy's story, and then right after I get done recording this,
I know you're about to.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth.
I'm just going to record
If you still
the
even remember that
tapes
name,
and edit the two back.
but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize.
You don't even realize that you're trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless cycles, chasing the goodness of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. God damn it, fuck you.
I'm sorry it couldn't be longer. Apparently Tuna has a 45-second limit.
Nah, that's fine.
That way the VHS guys get their due respect on the work they put into their projects rather than being at the end of however long this is going to cut down to. And if someone's just interested in the Five Nights at Freddy's story, they can watch this and be done with it. And if they want to know about the VHS tapes, which if you're interested in this story, I know you definitely will be, they can just go to the next video as soon as it's up, which I will link at the top of the description right below the ad. I think that's the safest way to do it. I also think that's the sanest way to do it to keep me from losing my mind, because I've now been recording for about 4 hours, and doing another 2 standing up like this will break my leg, so I think I'll call myself a break. Either way, that was the complete story of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. I intended this to be like a working retrospective for both people who like the series as well as newcomers, and I don't know if anything I said made sense to newcomers. I normally don't say like, oh, let me know in the comments if you blah blah blah. But unironically, if you aren't familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's, let me know if this made any sense. Because I don't feel like it did, and I need to course correct myself if I
those
do.
those circle fins that she has
But
different
I think
twice.
it was like
Oh,
okay in
these
the
things? Oh, they're like
series,
a little padding or something. I don't know. They're like the fancy little like padding that
Yeah.
real two staff.
If you are familiar with the series, and especially if you're not familiar with the series, and you just sat through all of that, I just want to say thank you for watching. Five Nights at Freddy's has always been very interesting to me because it's like, it's such an interesting concept as someone who likes horror. It's like, all right, children were murdered inside of a pizza place and their bodies were shoved into animatronics, and then that's it, survive that scenario. And like, that's what it started out as. Everyone remembers how big the original game got. But then as more came out, like, definitely the hype grew at least up until Five Nights at Freddy's 3. But as more came out, there were more questions being raised and there weren't answers given. And like, this is a weird tangent to go on, especially at the end of a Five Nights at Freddy's video. But take a series like Attack on Titan, where there was one core question that was being asked, but in the meantime, they were answering smaller questions that led your way up until you got your big reveal. And I think the biggest mistake of the Five Nights at Freddy's series is that they just kept asking questions and kind of sort of gave answers. The best example of that is, if you'll remember, ever since Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we were asking ourselves, oh, what's the bite of 87? Also, let me clarify, I've been in the community or like speculating about this stuff for years now. So when I say we, I mean we. So in the first game, we were all wondering, what does the bite of 87 mean? Because we just hear a mention of it, and it's really, along with the newspapers, our only world-building thing that was known in the first game. So we were asking ourselves that for a while, like, what's the bite of 87? What's that? And then when Five Nights at Freddy's 4 comes around, we know that the bite of 87 is someone losing their frontal lobe. And then in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, we see a mini game where a kid is placed into an animatronic, and the animatronic bites down and crunches his head. So we're like, oh, that's the bite of 87, which is where the meme from Markiplier comes in, because he thought the same thing we were all thinking. Like, oh, well, we're looking for someone getting their frontal lobe bit by an animatronic. Here's someone getting their frontal lobe bit by an animatronic. And it turns out the answer was no. That was the bite of 83. That was a different bite that you didn't know about yet until now. The bite of 87, we're never going to show it in the entire series. Like, I think, like, as someone who was hopefully interested and like invested and willing to dedicate time to figuring out what the story was, I did feel a little let
I remember
by
this.
a lot of details like
what?
9mm kills the body, but 45 kills the soul.
This story sounds kind of cool. Like, you know,
that's true.
He kills children, then he's forced to be in a creation of his own doing, and then he becomes...
Just noticed that fucking. You just noticed that he became Among Us Afton. Are you fucking kidding me?
It speaks for itself. It's so good. Like, when you look at that, it's very satisfying and fulfilling. But when you...
Watch the next part of the video. He's going to be talking about the analog horror adaptations. I can't believe in myself. This fucking...
Today we are going to talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's VHS tapes. Recently, I don't know how recently since I'm recording both of them back to back, but recently I should have put up a video that goes through the timeline and story of the Five Nights at Freddy's video games. And if you're like me, the more interesting aspects of those video games are the nuanced details about the murders themselves and the killer, William Adams.
Will you help me shade the Veronica Hawk? I don't know. Maybe.
Haunting poltergeist animatronic thing may seem common by today's standards. That's because of the effect the original Five Nights at Freddy's had. However, if you agree with that, then you also probably feel that the games didn't do that concept justice. And if that's the case, then I am more than happy to introduce you to the VHS tapes.
Don't do it live because it's pretty bad. I'm not gonna do it bad. Also, I don't think I can because I'm busy. I'm doing my own work.
There's also enough wiggle room for you to let your imagination run with what exactly happened to these children or how gruesome the events were. And that sweet spot is right where the VHS tapes are located. The majority of the VHS tapes that you're going to find on YouTube focus on the actual terror of the individual and why these concepts are scary from a horror movie.
I can help you by giving you advice, but I can't really do it on my own. Something you're gonna have to hire me for.
I primarily want to talk about the VHS tapes from Squimpus McGrimpus. Yes, that is the name of the YouTube channel, and yes, it is hilarious. Squimpus has constructed a world that uses the Five Nights at Freddy's world as a starting point, but then begins to build its own narrative. As a matter of fact, several of the scares and concepts mentioned in Squimpus' series are so known throughout the fan base that I'm sure there's plenty of people who think the thing from his VHS tapes are part of the mainline story. And that's not a joke. I've seen the audio clips from Squimpus' series get used on, say, TikTok, and people in the comments will say, oh yeah, that's from this game in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. And that's because Squimpus, I'm going to continue to say that name as much as possible, as a fan of the original series, knows what kind of content resonates with the people who found it interesting.
What's up?
And on top of that, I'm going to link a massive playlist of FNAF VHS creators in the description, because this is really an entire corner of...
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
The Wendigoon made an apology video.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What happened?
No, it's just a joke.
But I feel is often overlooked. So if that sounds interesting, stick around after the ad as we're going to get into the horrors of the FNAF VHS tapes. But before we get into all of that, I want to talk about something serious, like hair, and more specifically, you being serious about your hair. And you can start getting serious with today's sponsor, Keeps. Fellas, we need to be honest with ourselves. 2 out of every 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35 years old. And I, for one, do not want that to happen. If it wasn't for this hair, I would be a nobody. If I ever started to go bald, Google would show up and take these plaques off the wall. It's in the contract.
Oh yeah, those actually look kind of cool. I would be down to watch a video. I'd actually be down to watch more, like almost all of his videos on the stream.
Online, and then after
I was gonna say,
the treatment that's right for you,
I prefer to believe the one that have the many eyes.
Yeah, that one actually looks kind of dope.
That one I actually
any
would
questions
believe.
you have about the treatment, all from the comfort of your home. I completely understand why you may not want to go to a doctor's office and then explain to someone that you barely know why you think you're going bald.
Yeah.
But thanks to Keeps, you're able to get the treatment you need without any of the hassle. With more 5-star reviews than any of their competitors and hundreds of thousands of customers, it's a good idea to
Yeah, he is.
compare to the brand that keeps itself.
But he's chill Christian. He's not crazy Christian.
So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to the link in the description at keeps.com/Wendigoon to get your first
You should put in
order
the
for
exploring
50%
and
off.
abandoned.
That's right. Just head to the link in the description at
Why?
keeps.com/Wendigoon to get your first order.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Now's the best time to get in on a fantastic deal. Thank you all so much for watching the ad. Thank you so much to Keeps for sponsoring the video.
I mean, it seemed tight, but fuck it. It's just shading.
And we are back to the video. We are going to go ahead and get into it, but as
What?
always, thank you
You
for
have any
watching.
more slots
Again,
for
Squimpus' VHS series starts off with the understanding of the Five Nights universe, but then tells its own narrative. So whenever I say things like the puppet or...
Hey, don't blame me. Blame fucking Panda and everyone else. They've been using that shit.
I'll briefly describe it here, but if you want to fully understand what that means, I did a big video that will be around here somewhere.
4, 5, 6.
Before this, that goes into the whole story of the Five Nights series, and if you don't care that much about it,
6 out of the 15.
Be confused, I guess.
See? Told you.
The first video is the Fazbear Entertainment video manual. This seems to be an instructional guide for the workers at Fazbear Entertainment on how to clean the animatronics. It starts out normally telling them to disassemble the head and arms of the animatronic until it gets to the torso, at which point we see a censored image of Freddy's chest with small...
So hitting an enemy's crotch in Cyberpunk gets you a critical, found out. Huh, that's funny.
And accept our fate before the image cuts. If you were to go straight from the Five Nights at Freddy's video games into this VHS series, this is the first time you would actually see a mention of a child being inside of the animatronics. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a concept from the games that is terrifying, and now someone is actually putting it to flesh. No pun intended. In the next video, Bonnie joint movement testing, we open with a movement demo of Bonnie the animatronic. We then get your standard fare cut to face, horror jump scream, yada yada, before we see the puppet screaming above a gift wrapped box. And out of the box jumps Freddy, ending the video. Again, if you're familiar with the mainline series, then you know that the puppet
What
is
up?
the one responsible for attaching the souls
God damn it,
of
hold on.
children to the animatronics, causing the possession in the first place.
I'm almost done with this. I just need to finish it.
Setting that up and showing the different characters before the story begins to tell its own narrative. In the third video, sound response check, we are told that sounds will play as we watch Chica respond to the audio she's hearing, until the text glitches out. In other words, we don't know where Chica is supposed to be staring, to which she is then looking straight and music begins playing. We then hear dialogue from Chica, in which she says that this music makes her feel better. She then gives a rather haunting account of how one time she saw a bird asleep in the snow, and that's what nightmares are about. You can't breathe in the snow, and right here where Chica is now, she can't breathe. We then see the image of a sad girl before it cuts to a censored image of what is probably a bird asleep in the snow. The reason I enjoy this specific VHS series is not only for some of the character building we're going to get in the later episodes, but because in the main Five Nights at Freddy's video game, the concept of murdered children being forced to possess a metal animatronic suit is kind of just brushed over. And it's easy to forget that that is an absolutely horrific concept that's being mentioned by the games. And other than brief mentions from characters like Elizabeth, we don't really know how they feel about their circumstance. Whereas here in this VHS series, most of the horror comes from the concept of a child being trapped inside of this metal cage. Or as Chica says here, she can't breathe and it feels like she's in a nightmare. In our fourth tape, Pirate Cove pre-show, we're given an introduction to Foxy's show from Foxy the Pirate. This exposition repeats itself, and each time it does, it becomes more distorted and more children disappear. We then see the purple guy appear as he taunts Foxy and asks, didn't he want an audience? Before the faces of the other animatronics flash, before we cut back to Foxy and then see Golden Freddy, also known as Fredbear, hanging in the air on what appears to be a purple tether. This is the first time that we've seen mention of the purple guy, however he is going to continue to be the main antagonist throughout this story. And now that the pieces are set, the 4 tapes of each of the animatronics, also known as the 4 souls possessing the animatronics, we can now start with the narrative itself. In the next video, titled Non-Existent Video, we see a commercial for Fredbear's Family Diner. We see both of the original golden animatronics, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, as we're being told of how the spring lock suits work. We then see the Fredbear animatronic with blood covering its mouth. This is in reference to something known as the Bite of 83, in which the first victim of the entire series was killed when his brother Michael shoved him into the mouth of the Fredbear animatronic. We then see a message that's being delivered directly to us, telling us that we recovered the 4 tapes in the empty heads of the animatronics. In other words, the 4 previous videos in the series. Before being told that now we have found the 5th tape. The 5th tape being that of Fredbear, potentially the soul of Michael's brother who was killed inside of the Fredbear animatronic. The messages then begin to tell us that before our brother died, something else happened at that restaurant. This means that we are most likely Michael Afton viewing this video, meaning that our father is William Afton, the killer of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. We then see a video of a spring lock incident. In other words, an incident in which someone is wearing a spring lock suit and the animatronic components shoot back into place, killing the user. We are then told that that
Alright, so I'm gonna go a little bit on a tangent here.
Confirming the suspicion that we are Michael.
On FNAF. So, how in the fuck? Why in the fuck did people exactly think it would be a good idea to fucking have suits that basically function as a robot in a different time? Like, it sounds smart on paper, but on execution, it's the worst possible thing you could probably do. Because there's like that's an OSHA violation on its own. Because you're working with components. People can't work in the suits all the time. No, that's the thing though. Even if you go, why not take off the fucking exoskeleton and everything else that works with it and just wear it as the suit? There doesn't need to be extra shit like the spring locks. So they have to switch it from the suit to the robot. That's the thing though. Like why can't the fucking exoskeleton or like the endoskeleton have its own spring lock system where it attaches to specific parts of the thing? It's so stupid. that's a fucking violation of OSHA on its own. You're going to legitimately get hurt. It doesn't matter either way, because even the slightest fucking problem, like getting affected by water, because you don't know what could happen. Like some kid could be like, I'm gonna throw water at you or some shit. Like if you're in mid stage, like playing around, being like all like cool with the like kids and shit, and one of them just be like, psych, motherfucker, and throws a fucking water bottle at you, you're fucked. And those kids are traumatized now. They're seeing a man getting crushed inside. That's just my rant. Like it's kind of dumb.
Afton and our father is the killer, William.
You know what my answer
now
is?
dead,
What?
Possessing the spring lock rabbit suit. The message
Yeah.
says, I'll show
Just put it down to pot.
face fades into view.
Right,
If you'll remember, the puppet was the very first victim of William Afton, meaning that all of these tapes are an attempt by Charlie, also known as the puppet, who was the first victim of William
Fat-thighed cat. Yes, that's basically what I'm drawing right now.
Michael Afton, the son of William, to kill our father. This is confirmed as the puppet shows us Fazbear Fright.
It's the Monster Hunter cat, yeah. It's just someone's OC and they're like, hey, can you draw this for me? And I feel really bad because I kind of forgot about their commission, so I'm trying to finish it ASAP.
Remember, Michael is responsible for the death of his youngest brother at the hands of the Fredbear animatronic, meaning that now Charlie...
I actually do prefer just drawing instead of gaming right now, because it's just so much peaceful.
Michael's younger brother controlling the Fredbear animatronic, and they are trying to convince Michael to kill his father so that their souls can rest and pass on to the other side. In the next video, Night Security Training video, we see an instructional guide of how to operate the cameras and doors in the night security position. However, when we reach the part telling us how to operate the lights outside of the doors, we see a brief flash of Springtrap, aka William Afton, standing outside. We then see purple letters that say, I am here, I'm in the back room, please help, I just want to see my son. Again, if you're familiar with the series, then you'll know that William Afton has been walled off, sealed away in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for the past 30 years. So while the souls of the dead children are trying
Humans are kind of dumb, yeah.
to kill his father, Michael's father William is trying to convince him
Humans.
to let him out. Through these VHS tapes, we see a
Pretty
battle
stupid.
between these two entities in order to win.
Oh, humanity.
The next video, facial recognition testing, shows the animatronic Toy Bonnie. Toy Bonnie is equipped with the facial recognition system that is made to alert anyone nearby if someone is spotted whose face appears on a criminal database. To demonstrate this, we are shown several instances of Bonnie responding to a normal face and criminal.
Alright, hold on.
For one face is shown that confuses the person administering the test before Bonnie leaps forward in an attempt to attack.
Almost done with this.
The worker manages to stop Bonnie, but is very upset and exclaims, I know he can't come back here, but you can't put that face in there without telling me. It seems that one face in particular triggered a violent response in the animatronic. We are then shown a picture
Criminal
is repeated over and over. Before he transforms,
Yo, Pog.
Purple guy. The reason the animatronic attacked the person administering the test is because the face that was shown was the face of the animatronic's killer. Or, if you wanted to be more technical, the killer of one of the other animatronics.
Imagine Freddy just, on stage twerking.
But potato, same thing. The next video, titled Security Footage, is possibly my favorite in the entire series. It's simply a conversation in the dining hall of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Absolutely not. It's not even like a sexy, anthro Freddy. I'm talking like the actual animatronic, just throwing it back.
And And Chica, as we'll find out later, was the younger sister of Lucas. Throughout the conversation, we see
It's like a MIDI version of Montero.
Given his situation, Chica very heartbreakingly tells Lucas that it's okay and one day they'll go to heaven because they're supposed to. To which Lucas replies, "I'm so glad you don't know."
Oh, that's salty.
Before the conversation ends and the two part ways. It's such a simple video, but it's one of the more impactful things.
You made it into a fucking sticker.
The scary aspect of young children stuck inside of
The funny thing is, there's like white little fucking like spider come on like covering it. It's fucking weird.
It's the it's part of the
It's part of the background that just didn't get deleted.
yeah.
Nah, it's not good. It still looks kind of funny.
And I know this is serious, but close enough. And to see like real
New sticker.
or like that is something I would expect out of a series with this concept. In our next video, Company PSA, we see a video directed towards members of Fazbear Entertainment. They refer to the spring lock action at the previous locations, i.e. the animatronic suits failing and killing the person inside, before stating that all of the spring locks have been removed and now animatronics and costumes will be kept separately. The tape tells the worker that if ever asked about the Fredbear or Spring Bonnie suits, just say that they simply do not exist. The camera then cuts to Fredbear.
What if whenever like William Afton got crunched inside the fucking Springlock suit, he just heard the fucking collision sound effect from like Gmod?
Which is us viewing the tape, says, "I thought you loved me. You said you were sorry, but I know you're lying." Before saying, "I don't love you, and I'll take you with me." This is very different from what Charlie the Puppet said earlier in the tapes, where Charlie said, "Your younger brother will forgive you for what you did." As we can see here, Michael's younger brother still doesn't forgive him. In the next video, Animated Version, it starts out as a normal...
That's literally what you hear in the Springlock suit.
The tape begins to get glitched whenever they come to dinner and see that there are 6 chairs, but only 4 slices of pizza made. This again being a reference to the 2 Springlock animatronics who are now discontinued. In the cartoon, Chica is then lured away from the group before a door slams and we cut to the much more decrepit, monstrous version of the Chica animatronic. This most likely being a reference to how the young girl...
The kid just beat the shit out of him.
We then see an argument between Charlie and Michael's younger brother inside of the Golden Freddy suit. Michael's younger brother tells Charlie to stop trying to give the others hope and tell them that Michael will free them. Charlie concedes and admits that there is no hope and they're never getting out. During this time, we're given the names of the other victims within the animatronics, as Charlie says that she is sorry to Nicole, Lucas, Angie, and Benjamin. So despite William and Charlie each trying to leave messages for Michael in order to get him to help them, Michael's brother still doesn't forgive him for causing his death and has convinced the puppet to stop trying to convince him to help the others. In the next video, Memories, we begin with normal images of old Fazbear locations before we see an image of William Afton as we hear his hidden confession tape.
3 cases of 1 and 1 case of 2. All of them adding up to the 5 missing children of Freddy's. That was me. I'll elaborate on that later.
The voice acting for this is fantastic, by the way, and I'm almost tempted
Wasn't me.
to just
I killed them.
entire thing here, but the
They
link
suck.
will be in the description. You need to
Stinky
experience
children.
it for yourself.
They deserve to die.
William says that Michael murdered
Dave Johnson type beat.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Meaning we now have a name to the spirit possessing the Fredbear animatronic. William had
I think that's a good one.
furious that Michael killed the one son he cared about. William wanted to kill Michael.
I cared about him more than you, kid. You're an awful dad.
So William explains that he began murdering other children in order to get over his obsession with killing Michael. The tape ends as William addresses Michael.
Michael! Help me!
Of this confession tape every day. So if Michael's listening, he better make sure he puts it back just right.
My God!
Not only incredibly menacing, the entire motive and description and voice acting and all of that William Afton give in this story, but also the way that he addresses Michael directly, implying that even if Michael figures out that his dad killed these kids, no one's going to believe him because his dad has made sure all of the ends are met. And it paints a horrifying picture of something I never really thought about in the series, and that's the position of Michael growing up, potentially knowing that his father had murdered all these people. And it not only enhances this story, but makes the original Five Nights games more effective.
Me and Michael, but the synth sound is replaced with
Real
women's.
Michael was so determined
Me and Michael!
and didn't do anything about it, or if he had just lived in terror of his father growing up. It does
I need to fucking make that into a parody.
and that's create an interesting story while also enhancing the original story.
And it's pitch corrected. I need to make that into a song.
After being trapped within the spring lock suit. These continue throughout the years, from him begging Michael to get him out of the back room of the restaurant.
Michael, don't leave me here.
Michael! Michael!
Until eventually in 2008, when William makes his escape, even remarking, "She'll make you visit me," referring to Charlie the puppet, knowing that if Michael's out there somewhere, then the puppet will
Me and Michael.
We're then treated to a scene in which the puppet tells Michael to keep that match lit, his father is close. And then, as soon as William steps into the room, Michael sets the building on fire.
You could make that into the meme.
As everything burns,
You ever heard of Me and Michael by, I forgot who made it, but it's a song.
But in doing so, he took
This is gonna be funny.
souls of the trapped children. And with that, we have the ending of the Swimpus McGrimpus Five Nights at Freddy's VHS tapes.
Wingus McWingus.
It also has several non-canon MP4 tapes on the channel, which are creepy and cool, but don't really affect the story I just told. And I think these are fantastic.
A little lighter.
And if you're going to tell an offshoot story to a series that is as established and well-known as the Five Nights at Freddy's, you might as well do it right. So like I said, the Five Nights at Freddy's VHS community is huge. So rather than just stopping there, I want to give a quick mention to a few of the other creators who I think deserve some attention as well. And while there are many who do this and do it very well, I'm picking a few of my favorites to show justice. One of which being Faceless Puppeteer. Faceless Puppeteer has a rather large VHS series that goes over the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, but one of my favorites is the Employee Tape, which gives some general advice to the workers who may work at a Fazbear's Entertainment location, such as, don't tell the children that the animatronics aren't real because it will ruin the magic. However, more interesting is the section where it mentions that if any child is lost, that you should escort them back to their parents, and not before the tape is censored and we can assume it's saying bring them into a back room, which, if you'll remember, is the method William Afton used to get the children alone and kill them. Now, while that's cool, what is by far the most interesting part of the Faceless Puppeteer's work is his more unique takes on the lore itself. For example, there are two arcade games which are set within the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. One of which is of a very scared child walking through a house as he picks up coins, and there are small mentions that something is wrong in his life, such as the fridge being empty and the mention of tear stains down his cheeks. From the best I can tell, this is potentially...
Oh, it was MGMT. Okay, my bad. Didn't see the comment yet.
Five Nights at Freddy's video, I referred to as Evan.
Now I gotta make that into a song. Fuck me.
Referred to as the crying child in the main series. And making an arcade game about the childhood fears that he had growing up in the house with the serial killer is such a cool touch. There's also another game called the Fruity Maze Beta, which is based off the Fruity Maze minigame from Five Nights at Freddy's 6. In it, we see an early build of that maze game, and our protagonist Susan to find her dead dog.
Let's see you aren't drawing food out. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to like turn off the thing real quick because I need to insert the image to do something really quick and just edit it, because there is prawn that I have saved on here so I can use it as a reference for later. Gotta remember not to like flip.
Faceless Puppeteer has a silent cartoon in which the characters from the Fazbear locations go on the hunt for missing Chica. It's not just a unique and new way to tell the story inside of this universe, but it's also so fitting. These are children's animatronics. It makes sense that they would have their own show, especially one as low budget as a silent black and white cartoon. And in Faceless Puppeteer's most recent video, they go to a Fazbear amusement park, where characters from the silent cartoon are seen. I think that this has insane potential to do well, because not only are you introducing your own elements to the series, like the amusement park and the silent cartoon, but you're using them to build off of each other and then begin to tell your own story. And I think that's really cool, and I think it's fantastic. Him, as well as Squimpus and all the other creators I'm mentioning, will be linked in the description, but you really should check them out and keep track of whatever they've got coming next, because I'm excited for it. Another creator I wanted to talk about who is criminally underrated is Adam Simon. Adam Simon currently has 3 seasons of FNAF VHS tapes, with one pre-season playlist as well. In the pre-season, we see glimpses of what is most likely William Afton in his own personal hell. Something, again, that I mentioned in the main Five Nights at Freddy's series. Adam does a great job on playing with things that were briefly mentioned in the original games.
I'll be right back.
Like, for example, at the end of Five Nights
Okay.
at Freddy's 4, there is a locked box that is shown at the end of a cutscene. And no matter how many times you click on the box or do whatever you want, the box cannot be opened, and there's a message displayed that says something to the effect of some things are best left forgotten or unseen or whatever it says. So we were literally shown a locked box and it was never opened. So in Adam's series, he says that perhaps that locked box was William Afton trapped in this kind of timeless hell. Not only does that make sense, but it satisfies a point from the original games that otherwise there's no explanation for. In Season 2, Adam talks about finding 7 lost
Hold on a minute.
and along with your standard scares...
Let's finish this real quick.
Like, for example, there is one portion where it's talking
I'm
about
going
circus
to...
dancing, and it shows a brief flash of Elizabeth's face. It seems that Adam is building his own world, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. Also, looking at a few other creators, there were a couple other creators who mentioned finding lost tapes as well. And while I may be crazy here, I feel that there may be an interconnected story happening between these different YouTube channels. And if so, that's really cool, because Adam mentioned finding tape 2, and then another YouTuber mentioned finding tape 6. And if this is some big web to put together, and I do it, I'll make a video on it, or if anyone out there wants to go for it, because if so, I think that's really cool. The final one I wanted to give direct attention is Meme Bear, and yes, that's the channel's real name. From what I can tell, there isn't a direct storyline happening. There is one video that has the parentheses of canceled in the title that seems like it was beginning some narrative or some kind of analog horror setting. But other than that, it's just shorts that accent the series with these terrifying visuals. If Squimpus's videos added the narrative flair to the mainline series that I wanted to see, then Meme Bear's that's such a weird sentence. Then Meme Bear's videos add the more visceral or direct visual horror to it. Because yeah, it's never seen in
Okay, so I'm gonna think real quick how I can do this.
down the line for some reason. But the concept of decomposing bodies in an animatronic is gross and disturbing. And Meme Bear's visuals are gross and disturbing, just like they should be. And if you ever want to freak out your friends at 2 in the morning with loud noises and creepy faces, then Meme Bear's content is the way to go. Another creator I want to mention is someone by the name of Baddington. Whenever I began to research this video, there were a few videos that I had previously seen that gave me the idea to do this one. And a lot of those were these short clips of Freddy stalking a child in the back of the pizza restaurant, or these incredibly detailed remakes of the Squimpus tapes. And through the research, I couldn't find the clips I was trying to think of. And then I come across Baddington, and pretty much everyone that I thought was creepy and gave me the idea to make this video comes from that channel. As with the others, I will link Baddington's channel in the description, and I really think it is a fantastic take on the series, and quite possibly...
I'm gonna grab a charger real quick, so hold on a minute. I'll keep the thing going. Just it's not gonna take that long. It's just walking around the corner. Oops.
There are a ton more fantastic creators in the realm. We have J Gems, 12-Man OP, Dark Lord K, and Reach Animations, just to name a few. Like I mentioned, all of those channels that I covered will be in the description, as well as a playlist to get into more of this content, because there are a lot of fantastic animators and storytellers in this corner of YouTube, and I want to bring it more attention. I've always thought that the Five Nights at Freddy's series is an interesting concept and a great starting point to tell a good story. And I feel that in a lot of ways, the main video games got more obsessed with hiding story elements rather than actually telling that story they were trying to hide. And one of the reasons I love the VHS tape so much is because it takes those concepts and, like I mentioned with Squimpus, puts them on the front row and then tells a story with it. And I think that's fantastic. And hopefully if you stuck around this long into the video, you think it's fantastic as well. And I think that's really cool, and I just want to say thank you for watching. It's a little odd for me to cover like an analog, ARG, whatever horror that is connected to another piece of media, and I couldn't think of a better way to do it, because originally this was going to be at the end of the giant Five Nights at Freddy's timeline, but I figured that'd be too long and wasn't doing justice to these creators, so I decided to just, you know, leave it as is. But like, it's odd, right? Like the way I would go about this, and
Ah, shit, that's the wrong one.
because I don't want to just start talking on a channel that has not mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's about like, oh, Purple Guy and William Afton and all that. And a bunch of people wanted to see me cover FNAF anyway. So I did that.
Oh, hey,
and
Gretch.
now I can do this. And I hope it worked out well. I hope there's like one guy out there who has not, I mean, obviously you probably heard of Five Nights at Freddy's, but doesn't know
Hi.
anything about the
I'm still drawing.
watch that video and this one, and it made sense. Or at least it made sense enough.
Alright, hold on. Let me just try to find something.
Like I said, I think the original series had a lot of potential, and then it kind of dropped the ball in a few regards. And one of the reasons I love private creators,
Ah, damn it. Hold on.
is because they pick up that ball and keep going with it. And that's why I love a lot of the people I talked about today. A lot of the people I talked about also do work in the Walton Files corner of like private independent anime, which I guess the
Where did I leave that fucking wire? Oh my god.
Besides the point. And
For
I will,
charging shit.
everyone talks
Fuck
about
that
it,
even.
and yeah, the
Down
Walton
here?
Files is really cool.
Oh, it's down there.
I will cover it eventually. The reason I haven't covered it now is because next post video already mentioned everything that I would want to say on the topic, so there's not really a reason for me to.
You say something?
Episodes come out, so once another episode or two,
what I put in call that
then I'll
text.
probably cover it. I have a lot of catching up on ARGs
Hold on.
to do at the moment anyway.
Just
I need to make another Monument Mythos.
charging my
well, not
stylus.
Catalog one yet. When season 2 ends, I need to do it. I need to make a Salad Fingers video because David Firth challenged me to on Twitter, and what am I going to do? Say no to that? And I feel like there was another one. Oh, Gemini. I probably won't do Gemini until some more stuff's out because again,
The fuck is this?
pretty fantastic. But yeah, it's going to be ARG season for the boys for a while. Yeah, I think that should do it for now. Anyway, I'm tired. I have to edit this. Thank you to the top tier patrons that you can see, or the top tier X patrons.
Just witnessed Neko Wark getting her cheeks clapped by fucking Kratos. Alright. Weird.
Why don't you put your Sprite in there?
What the hell?
Shut the fuck up. Alright, so.
I have Matt do it.
No. It's not gonna be a VOD. Unless if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna do that yet.
Who says? I can take this clip myself and then have
You
him put your Sprite.
motherfucker. Yeah, and then you're gonna make him fucking replace all the Neko Wark songs with my fucking voice? Yeah, I fucking doubt it.
No, just have replace the Sprite.
You motherfucker. Alright, I'm gonna look if Wendigoon had another video where he talked about Walton Files. So let's see. Wendigoon.
I could literally just have him use the one of you strapped to the bed.
Shut the fuck.
No.
Oh wait, no, did he?
Here, I sent another one.
Did he actually make one? There's an expo. Fuck it, let's watch an expo. He's also pretty good when it comes to doing analog horror. It's an hour long.
And I'm sending memes in the comment text.
Oh, isn't that ironic? Like,
Look what I posted.
wait, hold on. Warning. Following contains graphic depictions and, you know, shit. If you don't like seeing gruesome shit, click out or just, you know, lower the volume to you guys.
You mean like when Shaggy's gonna be the purple man?
Is that a snake?
Yeah.
Shit post gateway. Wait a minute. I know I shouldn't put my dick in there, but
Look how the dino's looking at him.
give me the snussy. Oh, oh no.
No. Dex, you have neighbors, right?
Yeah.
What would you say if you opened a package that was mistakenly dropped off at your house? That was from your neighbor, and this was inside.
Okay, hold on. I'll...
What would you say?
Hold on.
What if I told you there was a series out there that's recently stood out to me as one of the creepiest that I've ever covered on this channel? What if I told you that it's nearly neck and neck in quality with the revered Local 58 that we know all too well?
I just seal it up. Also, hi Doug. I'll seal it up and just put it on his, you know, on his doorway and just go back home. No one. I just gonna, you know, just put it back. Just leave it be. Leave it be.
Enter the Walden Files, a show birthed on April 26th, 2020 by an online creator named Martin Walls.
I'm watching Nexpo with the chat, so. Hey man, all I'm saying is the sheep can get it.
The place opened in 1974 and was known to host birthday parties, school events, and even animatronic concerts.
Oh, I found something you're gonna hate.
Was known to host these things.
You ever play what was it, Starfield or some shit?
Specific incidents.
No, bad. Bonk. But she's a MILF, though. I drew her. I drew her that massive fucking boobs. Yeah, I can even show you right now.
Where are you talking to?
I'm talking to my chat. My chat. My chat. Yeah, you guys are now known as chat.
Are they talking about the fucking Walton robot?
Yes.
That's an adult woman that's stuck in there, not a fucking child.
She's a MILF!
Exactly, she's a mother. She wasn't a child.
Now, Bunny Smiles is somewhat at the foundation here.
Also, here, look what I posted now.
But a robot. So?
Nearly every event that takes place. Deception.
Your hand is no different.
Loss. Trauma.
Are we gonna go into the... Are we... Okay. We're going to go into the Dax verse for a minute, okay? There's a Dax that I shit you not has experience with these types of animatronics. And I'll show you what I mean, okay? Unfortunately, some of these are not are safe. Hell, I even had fucking art made of it. And why the fuck am I getting kicked out of it? Okay, hold on.
There's a version of you for this version of the fucking sharp peanut butter.
Yeah, there is. There's a version everywhere. Dax Lord Dump. Yeah, okay, yeah. You're gonna see that shit. Okay. Hopefully it loads, because I fucking swear to God, if this doesn't load, I'm gonna be mad.
If it doesn't load, that's your fault.
Okay.
Hey, man. Staying.
Okay. First of all, this right here.
Is it a VTuber you drew?
No, that's Corbina. She had a robot. I'm not sure what happened to this fucking artist, but they had a big titty crab woman, and I liked it. And
I'd be surprised.
this poor man right down there. You see that thing? That's another Dax, okay? And then you had an experience with this one. Terrifying. It's like a Yeti crab. And then there it is, baby.
Yeah,
there it is, baby. And then you have this.
Oh my god, I just found something stupid, Dax.
Don't ever tell me Don't ever tell me that robots can't get it, because I know damn well that if I saw this, a Plappin' has happened. I do miss that artist though. They were really cool. I gotta be real careful not to fucking click off with something else.
What happened to them?
I don't know. They just stopped posting.
Here, look what I've just posted.
They deleted their stuff? No, like here, hold on. They still have their shit. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Because it's been a long time. Yeah, dude, oh my god, what happened to this artist?
You're about to learn a scientific fact next.
Something happened with it? Am I missing something? I don't want to like find out that this artist did something fucking terrible. Or died. Actually, no, if I found out they died, that's just, I genuinely would be like kind of sad about it, but yeah, no, they were around for a while. I don't know why. Might have to
Or they
look.
could have just pulled a J Lullaby.
No, there's nothing. Like, they straight up didn't have anything to delete all this stuff. No, Mania. I know what you mean. Fuck, I might actually
Said fuck it and decided to go back to school and get a degree.
probably. Yeah, no, they haven't, dude. They haven't been posting ever since like 2001. The last post that they really did was a retweet of salty noodles.
Send them a message.
I can actually. Hold on. Yeah, no, if you want to search them up, it's Mania Cousin. They haven't been on in a long time, so I'm hoping nothing bad happened to them. Yeah, no, they literally haven't been posting ever since like the 1st of January 13th. That's it. I don't know what the fuck happened, but something happened.
The Me My Syntax is a mix of Gmod, SpongeBob, and Nukes.
I remember that they had like an NSFW account, but I don't recall that they had what's it called? Like I don't remember what their NSFW account was exactly. So I'm kind of fucked. Where the fuck did they go? Exactly. What the fuck? Like I don't like I'm glad I'm not the only person that said that. Like I'm genuinely concerned in a way because like they basically pulled salmonella. They just left. Like I know there's a lot of like Twitter artists that were just, dealing with a bunch of like serious stuff at the time, like back then, but like even then, like I just genuinely don't know what the fuck happened.
Oh, my back.
But your dick making your fucking back hurt.
My back is doing the thing where your lower back hurts and it feels like you want to pop it.
Oh, you should need someone to walk in your back, dude.
But it's on like my lower back.
It's
That's harder to crack compared to your upper.
Yeah, but like I said, you really just need someone to walk in your back, or just give you some back
No
massages.
one's heavy enough.
Death and beyond. Alright, fine, but this will be the last time because I need to get back to work. That's sex. That's sex.
Look at the one about snakes.
What the fuck? Snakes have clitorises, and scientists have finally found them. Took you long enough. I found it.
What does that tell you?
I guess snakes have clits.
The first one is a Space Marine one.
So, without further ado, let's dig in. From the top, the Walton Files.
I will draw Shaw the Sheep again at some point. Oh yeah, you wanna know what's funny? Chat. You know how like the excuse that people say that like the fucking artist that made the series didn't like when people drew his characters in a sexualized way. I'm calling fucking bullshit because the original time whenever I fucking posted that on my alt account, like before it was my main account, I gave her like a sexy look. He liked it. He legitimately gave a like to that fucking thing.
Like the actual artist.
The actual person who made that. And a bunch of people got mad at me for it. Because they're like, oh, he doesn't like it when people do shit to his characters. Like, Britch, here's the thing about you should know about the internet. If it exists, there's gonna be some form of fat material. I'm not going to excuse the shit that happens, but there are some weird fucking people, okay? I just wanted to make a redesign to look sexy. I wasn't gonna go out of my way to make it look, grotesque and shit. And hell, even later, whenever I made like, an actual nude like pinup of it, I just made it just so it could be nice. I didn't tag him. I didn't do any of that because I know if he actually didn't find that, like, as a nice thing, I don't want to bother him for it. There's a difference between being bothersome and making art that's just like, it's a little risque, but you can basically tell them like, hey, I didn't mean anything bad. I just wanted to make something nice in my own form, my own interpretation.
There's when I pay you to make something.
Exactly. So, like, I hate when people use that excuse of like, oh, he didn't want that to happen to his character. It's like, bitch, you don't know. You don't know. Maybe if he says like, hey, man, I appreciate that you're making fan art, but like, don't tag me or like, don't at least do that. I didn't even tag him in the first one. He just somehow found it. At least I remember I didn't tag him. It was a long time ago, but still, I hate that fucking excuse so much. It's stupid. Anyways, let's continue. I drew a character and people got mad at me for it because they were like, the artist doesn't like when people do that. It's like, I just hate when people fucking do that fucking shitty excuse.
Actually, if you met me back in the early days of Twitter, you would have seen some shit. I got into arguments with people.
This is a compilation of tapes created by the already extinct Bunny Smiles company. I tried to get as much info as I could.
Yeah, but if
who made the character like the photo.
They were handed to new employees back in 1974 to 1979, and the rest of them seemed to be recorded by a new facility caretaker in the year 1982. Hopefully, I can find more soon. Anthony.
Company introductory tape. Archive 1, 1974.
Smiles.
Serving as the pilot episode for the Walton Files. The first archive within this company introductory tape understandably takes a more direct initial approach at introducing you to the main cast.
And yeah, that's all it is. Just an ordinary employee training video.
Bob's Burgers.
Bond's Burgers. Bob. No. This one has a sexy sheep woman.
You have applied to a job in technical support and maintenance.
Okay.
What does this job particularly mean? It means that you, amongst other employees, are the one who will take care of creating a magical and fun experience for Bond.
The Walton Files, you said, right?
The Walton Files, yes.
This first employee training video seems to have been created sometime in 1974.
One of the people who made the Walton restaurant, like Bond's Burgers, was named Walton.
Brief introduction. The video goes forth to introduce us to the Bond's Burgers main animatronic characters that make up a group called the Showstoppers, consisting of the eponymous Bond the Rabbit, Shaw the Lamb, Buzu the Ringleader, and Banny the Other Rabbit. The four lovingly perform a couple songs for us before we get into the nitty-gritty about what our new job actually entails.
That's something that just tends to happen a lot.
Made by BSI to entertain children.
Okay.
As a technician, you'll be given the role of a facility caretaker.
My hand hurts.
Around this
Go to
time,
sleep.
the magical journey wheel work on certain
No,
tasks.
it's because my cat has been scratching in the
Cleaning
environment
protocols.
a lot.
Robot maintenance and repair.
And learn
Aye.
how to use BSI technology. But first, here's a message from Jack Walton and Felix
I let
Cranky,
him
our
because
beloved founder.
Felix cranking that soldier boy.
In BSI, the most important thing to us isn't the money or the rating. The most important thing to us is that you have a wonderful experience while working with us. That being said, with the Bon's Burgers restaurant getting opened in a few weeks, we're looking forward to achieving this dream with you.
All right, hold up.
No face when burger place is fancy enough to have robots. I mean, I'd eat there.
This video seems to have cut to
Looks fine.
catalog from a year later.
Then again, that looks like the most Midwest ass fuck piece of shit, like little shanty ass restaurant ever.
Something that stood out to me.
Imagine the
Founders seems oddly uncanny.
Yes.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but with Jack Walton especially, something definitely seems off.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. I can make a direct competition with Hooters. Mix it up.
You can.
Okay. Animatronic, sexy, robot women. I don't know how I can make that work. But it will be like an adult Chuck E. Cheese. It's crazy. You could probably do that. The cost. Amen. Amen. It's just robot strippers. I'll have furry night at one point where I make animatronic sexy furry women. Furries can come in from all shapes and sizes and just go in there and just have fun. And then normal nights you're just gonna get like they're not gonna be like, I don't want them to be Uncanny Valley. I want them to be like robots, like what's it called? They have like screens as heads, or like there's like a TV head girl, they're, like super cute. So yeah, I might need to write this down. That'd be so fucking stupid, but it'd be so funny. That's cool. That seems like a Japan type fucking thing. One of them's a fucking maid. Okay, I'm coming up with ideas here, people. Okay.
Anyway, that catalog houses a ton of information and context, and appears to read the following. Save, restore, secure. The BSI storage facility, also known as K9, is a company project to storage all valuable items from the closed-for-good Bon's Burgers restaurant. Given the situations about the incidents inside the 1974 Bon's Burgers location, any type of props, animatronics, and arcade machines will be carefully moved, inspected, and secured inside a bunker located deep down in the St. Juanes forest for good. A facility caretaker will take care of securing the facility and keeping it safe and working properly. Considering the fact that the initial role of the facility caretaker was to keep the restaurant clean, maintain the animatronics, and to learn BSI technology, I find it strange that they're now in charge of securing this top-secret facility in order to keep it safe. Honestly, seems like a pretty damn big job, and it leaves me questioning what they're keeping it safe from. If that's what they're doing, that is.
It's just storage facility, so I'm guessing they would probably just have it safe there. What's so funny, huh?
Look at the server.
Archive 2, 1979.
Hold up. Just finishing up some line art.
Here, we're presented with the children's cartoon by a Sarah.
Alright, hold on.
It's titled Bond's Super Sleepover and appears to convey a night.
Actually, hold on a minute. I'm gonna turn off something real quick so that incident that happened with my iPad doesn't happen again.
Initially, everything seems fine. However, when the narrator begins running through the guest list, we're promptly informed that this cartoon is not what it seems.
For this sleepover, he invited Shah, Boozoo, and Billy. Let's check again in case we don't forget any guests. Bond invited Shah, Bozu, and
Ronald Raisley.
Hey, Jack, is that you? How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you there, buddy.
Ronald Raisley.
So, this definitely didn't help the initial uncanniness of the
What am I missing here?
Clearly he, or someone he knows, has inserted his face into these tapes. leaving us to wonder why this was done.
See.
After this, we get back to the main story, which involves little Bon eagerly prepare the movie for everyone to watch.
I'm trying to turn off the ability for my iPad to get phone calls.
The TV merely shows the text.
Please do not disturb.
Interestingly,
Oh yeah, you're right. I could do that.
around the TV set, we can notice something suspect. A pill bottle with the name Sophie Walton written on it. This will be important later, so let's keep this in mind. Later on, everyone heads to bed. We're able to observe each character snoozing away. However, little Bon seems to be awoken by something, making noise in the middle of the night.
All right, I think I fixed it.
Nice.
What'd you send?
I didn't send anything. Just look at the server.
God, what the fuck did you do? Why?
It's funny.
Stupid thing is gonna curse me to the land of time. Why did Archie fucking put Handsome Schlatt on the fucking... You know what? Just for that. Just for that. Just for Handsome Schlatt. You know what I'm gonna do? I can't even find it. Hold on. Bro, who changed the server icon? Man, I wonder who.
Right. So it seems that little Bon glitches into a cartoon depiction of Sophie Walton, the girl whose pills we saw earlier by the TV. As we could see, when she lit the lighter,
It's like the line window.
had a massive hole in his chest.
Like it's singing.
Furthermore, we can observe that Sophie's dressed up in some sort of work uniform with a name tag that seems to resemble the one we saw earlier. This hints at the potential of Sophie being an employee of either Bon's Burgers or Bunny Smiles Inc. Considering the fact that she seems to be Jack Walton's daughter, then it would make sense. Another thing I'd like to highlight was that missing poster, which confirms two things. One, that the image
You
from
wanna know
earlier
what my
during
mom
the guest
told me?
list
What?
was Jack Walton's distorted face.
What?
That
And
it's
two,
a cat. That it's a cat's
something
fault that I
happened to
got
him,
sick.
leading
Ah.
him to litter his photo throughout these tapes.
They actually put it outside.
Also, while the missing poster
And leave
date
it there
is
forever.
illegible,
No.
captions confirm that the
That's a
date
bad
is
idea.
June 11th, 1974, meaning that his disappearance occurred during the same year that the Bon's Burgers restaurant opened. Could this have been the incident that caused its closure? Considering that he was one of the two founders, it honestly wouldn't surprise me.
With my massive fucking forehead.
Archive 3. Taking place just after midnight on October 10th, we're heading down a forest trail. It's hard to make out on the video itself, but the person filming this can be heard in the background saying the following.
So, this is the brand new caretaker for the old Bunny Smiles facility. I'm recording this because the company requires some type of archives for the work history, something like that. I honestly have no clue because I just started working here. I'm going there right now, but they gave me this weird location that's somewhere in this forest to work at. And I've been driving for 20 minutes, and I can't find the place.
About a minute and a few video cuts later, they eventually make their way to that canine bunker.
What are you doing?
Not entirely sure why
I'm gonna be drawing now. Just slacking off a bit.
Hey, let's hope they're making some overtime. Anyway, upon their arrival, they venture inside and observe the following.
Chris told me this place hasn't been working since about 78, 79, somewhere around then, and that was 4 years ago, I think. So chances are it's gonna smell horrendous.
Damn, that audio sounds so fucking weird.
Your face sounds weird.
Your mother.
Uh,
He's got eyes. And he's dead. Pog.
I can't feel anything. He thought I was her. Brian's paralyzed. He isn't dead. Yet. He thought I was her, though. Is he referring to Sophie? Considering that she seemed to be dressed up in a work uniform that resembled Brian's, it would make sense. But that then leaves us wondering why. Why would Bond seemingly awaken and react so violently, mistaking another employee for what we can assume to be Sophie Walton? Why was he programmed to do this? Backing up to the beginning of that scene, we can overhear Brian talking about how the facility wasn't open for 3 or 4 years. For that entire length of time, the bunker was derelict and abandoned, banished to Mother Nature and forgotten. Interestingly, once he made it inside, we can recall that he made a passing reference to something called a relocate project that he claimed Bond would be good for. It seems that after this long hiatus, someone at Bunny Smiles made the call to open K9 back up, which I find a bit strange considering that the information catalog had claimed that it would be closed for good. For what reason they're reopening it though? I couldn't tell you at this point. But what I do know is considering the fact that Bond had chased Brian out of the facility, eventually catching up to him, mangling his entire body, and leaving him for dead. This so-called relocate project just might be the worst idea that Bunny Smiles has ever had. At least, as far as I know.
This is another compilation of tapes from Bunny Smiles Incorporated. I was able to contact people via forums and threads that have some information on the company. These tapes revolve around some relocation project.
I had to improve on the.
During the late 1960s.
Have to improvise on the background. Nah, it's fine. I mean, the background setting actually makes sense.
And only a few people had copies of them. Once the company vanished in the early 80s, all tapes regarding the project were banned and destroyed. These are super rare, and I'm really lucky to have them.
The relocate project.
Because are like stuff I don't think of it as ASAP unless if it's like super important to the idea itself. I mean, it makes sense. You could probably leave it like a little bit like as a sketch, like add some color to it, make it like a watercolor. It makes the base thing pop out.
Yeah.
The footage opens up with an informational segment about the closure of Bond's Burgers and the purpose of the relocate project. The same narrator that voiced the company introductory tape is back, and seems to be eager about the future of Bunny Smiles Incorporated. Oddly though, if we look closely during this segment, we can notice bits and pieces of visuals that don't quite fit in.
Erica. They get an idea for post for just go into an autopilot mode when I see what I type. Like I said, it's a fun. This one was fine because it would make sense of her changing in her room.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to you the Relocate Project. But before we go into details, we want to greet all the new Bunny Smiles employees. Let's start analyzing the Relocate Project by checking what has happened ever since the closure of Bonds 4 years ago. As many of you might have known from previous tapes, our beloved
Purple guy.
secured in St. Juana's storage facility some months after the restaurant's closure.
Ooh, spooky. What? Great. What now?
Was that the bite of 87?
Pain.
Making enough money to eventually reopen the Bonds Burgers restaurant is no doubt a brilliant idea. So let's give it up for Felix Kranken, a man with not only a giant brain, but also a giant heart.
So clearly Jack Walton sunk his little tendrils into this tape as well, interrupting what seems like a self-aggrandizing segment about Felix Kranken. Admittedly, this does appear to be symbolic, especially when we consider the fact that, earlier, Felix was labeled as the founder, singular, with Jack cropped out of the original photo that the pair had taken together. To me, this notion combined with the affirmation...
Why do you keep distracting me? God damn it. You hurt me sometimes, man. I'm trying to finish my shit.
Beans.
You hurt me.
I know, it's funny. I hurt everyone I meet.
You see it?
That's why I have venom initials.
It's cut off and hardly
Ah.
but the words on the file box appear to read, Jack's still here. Seems a bit deliberate, doesn't it?
I do.
Given that these were so-called internal company tapes, that means that someone within Bunny Smiles knew something they probably shouldn't have when they were putting this footage together. So what actually happened to Jack?
Anyways.
Considering the fact that the Relocate Project appears to have
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
a year after his longtime friend, business co-founder went missing.
My brain.
To me, Felix Kranken is beginning to seem more and more suspicious as time goes on.
Felix Kranken, that soldier boy.
Jumping forward a month, we're greeted with what appears to be an internal company tape regarding animatronic reprogramming. Baney appears on screen, and for this example, is used for these tests. The video initially shows their mouth opening and closing, with captions claiming that this is a so-called pre-relocate feature that requires checking since reprogramming could have affected this.
What?
They move on to a new Relocate Project exclusive, which involves blinking.
I don't have any more. I don't want to get drunk. You turn that shit off. And I can't even see the message on here because I have it set in a different fucking thing. Oh well, no, I actually can do. Okay, hold on.
Anyway, after this brief test sequence, a distorted face becomes overlaid onto Baney's head, implying that they're either representative of a human counterpart or that someone's...
I don't have anything to give a shot with, so I'll just take a... Hold on. Hold on.
To a top-down view of what appears to be the inside of Bonds Burgers, showing Baney helplessly trying to escape.
Daniel.
The mighty rabbit needs to get out. 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 The rabbit is starving. The rabbit is starving. The rabbit is starving.
bunny rabbit needs to get out. The bunny rabbit is starving.
Take a shot of water, they say.
At the end of that entire
Nope.
sequence,
No need.
greeted with a shrouded missing persons poster.
We got more.
After breaking it doesn't appear to be Jax.
I got a country cocktail.
Oh.
The missing date's hard to make out, but it appears to be
Too late. I already put that point.
1974.
Well, I'll count this as water. Fuck you.
So, 2 missing posters and 2 animatronics that appear alive.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, not so nice now, is it, huh?
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm not fucking telling on you to stop coughing whenever you cough.
I wasn't even coughing, actually.
Exactly.
Bitch.
And so we make our way to the new, updated, and revised technical support tape made specifically for the canine
Did I ever
facility.
tell you that I made
Shaw the Lamb is our host in this one, and states that she'll be taking us through an orientation and area tour inside the bunker.
No.
So, at the beginning of the year, and mostly at the end of the year of last year, my parents told me to do the process to get a renewal of our visas.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did them. I did only me and my dad because my brother was able to do his. So now, after all this time, my mom is like, we're gonna redo it because you don't remember your
the costume
answers.
that Sophie was wearing back in the introductory tape was
Right.
indeed a facility caretaker uniform.
I didn't knew I had to like actually save.
The next segment takes us outside of K9. We make a quick check for all the necessary equipment for the job. A lantern,
the survey,
snacks, a
Right.
gun, and a camera before we make our way inside.
And she got someone inside
because
to move the dates up to be a little bit earlier.
Turn on the light.
Hmm.
So pretty much what I did was for nothing.
That sucks.
Yeah, I hate when they put me to do stuff on my own. They expect me to do it right because I never do. I don't know what I was doing. They expect me to do it right.
Remember to always keep this room as clean and organized as possible. A clean environment helps to get tasks done faster.
Anyways.
Shut the fuck up!
Oh man, that's funny.
Alright, this is the main hall of the place. In front of you, you will find 3 doors. These are storage areas. The first door is used to save any kind of cleaning items and supplies. The second door is used to save a kind of prizes and merch that was available in a Bond's Burgers restaurant. The third door is used to hide...
The third door is used to hide what, Shaw? The bodies? Yeah, anyway, so that silhouette, you saw that too? At this point, we have no context or clues about who that could be, but let's keep them in mind.
Yo, she's singing Rap God.
No, hold on a second. Run that back. Backwards.
Rosemary would go to the restaurant every night hoping that his beloved husband would reappear after being missing for weeks, but no response until one day she heard a voice saying, "I know where she is, Rosie," coming from the backstage.
What the fuck?
Interesting. Given the context, it's a no-brainer to assume that Rosemary is Jack's wife. The ending to that quote, though, implies that something lured her backstage. But what?
Welcome to the basement. Right now, you are in the main storage area. As you can see, this is the room where we storage more important items.
I wonder if he's made like a newer episode, because I've seen all the episodes.
Now, please follow me to the next door.
In the Bond's Burgers restaurant, remember to avoid touching or shining lights at our robots unless you are a facility technician. Now let's
move on to the next room.
How odd. I remember we visited this room already.
I like how they just use the dementia music.
By the time the lady entered the backstage as the voice told her to, missing husband wasn't there. Instead, she found a rabbit.
Just realized the fuck. I just realized Bond has actual human teeth. That's fucking creepy.
Oh god. You mean like the teddy bears from dentists that put real teeth on them?
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to know why.
When she woke up, she looked beautiful. But on the inside,
Yep. She's dead.
Alright, so what just happened there? Right after Shaw finished showing us the basement, we briefly see a photo of Bond and Shaw together, almost like they're a couple. Shaw
Aww.
entered the backstage area, notifying us that only facility caretakers should be shining lights on the robots before leaving that room, only to make her way back to the basement. Afterward, she expresses confusion, claiming that we visited this room already, utters the words, "Sophie, where am I?" and then walks southbound once more into what appears to be that silhouette figure from earlier. We then see a cartoon version of what we can assume to be Rosemary, with a strange voice giving more context.
I'm going to close and then place on Fortnite. Also, I need a client for Destiny, so later, Vasco.
Bond the rabbit. After claiming over and over that "you will beautiful" and "you're broken, we'll fix you," Bond appears to dismember Rosemary before stuffing her corpse into Shaw's body. Shaw wakes up and expresses that she looked beautiful before we see yet another shrouded missing persons flyer. After brightening this one up, we can clearly see that it's for Rosemary Walton. July 19th, 1974. I'm beginning to see a pattern. Here, we have a poster for Rosemary, who we know was killed and stuffed into Shaw. Earlier, we witnessed one for a Susan Woodings, who appeared to possess Banny, and at the very beginning of the first episode, we saw one for Jack Walton. Considering that he's been missing this entire time, the fact that Bond was one of the first alive animatronics that we witnessed in this series, and the implications that came with that photo of Shaw and Bond, I'm starting to get the impression that the Jack Walton corpse is, in actuality, stuffed inside of Bond the Rabbit. This is, of course, just a theory, but it leaves me to wonder...
That actually does make sense, though.
Who exactly did that? Let's move on.
Alright, let me read that out loud. Hold on, run it back.